The injuries look like those seen in people exposed to poisons like mustard gas.
That's how doctors are describing what they see in the lungs of vapors.
The chemicals can essentially burn your lungs. Find the truth at BehindTheHaze.com.
At Toyota's national sales event, we don't just help you get the perfect vehicle. We're here to open new doors that lead to your road to greatness. Your journey starts at Toyota's national sales event.
Toyota, let's go places.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
I'm Coeur. I'm a dairy nutritionist here in the Treasure Valley. I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to do my part to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. As soon as the vaccines were readily available, I was vaccinated. I would encourage people to do the research, listen to the healthcare providers. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, there was hardly any wait. It was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
It's not a secret that finding a new car this year is a little tricky. Between chip shortages and supply problems, there's more reasons than ever to come to our no-problem dealerships when you need a new car or truck. Our acquisitions team works hard to make sure that we have a great selection of vehicles to choose from, and our easy-to-buy, easy-to-do business with sales team is ready to deliver the same great value price that we've had for nearly 20 years. Teton Toyota, where it's always no problem to buy and service your car.
Well, welcome to Madison High School here, Bobcat Stadium, the site of the 2021 Rocky Mountain Rumble. It's the Idaho versus Utah version. We're on Game 4. We had 3 games yesterday. In this game, the matchup featuring the Coeur d'Alene Vikings out of northern Idaho taking on the Lehi Pioneers. Lauren Jensen alongside Lance Taylor and Josh McGauley today. Just a beautiful day here in eastern Idaho as we've got the coin toss going on as Lehi's team now comes onto the field here. And this is going to be an interesting matchup. Coeur d'Alene, a 5A powerhouse here in the state of Idaho. Lehi comes in 1-1. Who have they played thus far, Lance?
Well, Lehi, and you got to remember this about the Utah schools that are up here. All of them have 2 games under their belts coming into this, and we'll talk again about the advantages and disadvantages of that and so forth. Lehi's 1-1 coming into this. They lost to Davis, which is another 6A school. Utah has 6A, which is their highest division down there. They did lose to Davis to start the season 21-14. However, that was an overtime game. So that was a game that was very highly contested. Then they beat Salem Hills, which is a 5A school down out of the south end of Utah County. That's the school that back in the day split part of Spanish Fork and Payson High School back in the day, and got Salem Hills, and they beat Salem Hills 30-7. So Lehi, we know they're going to have size. These are some things you always know about a 6A school. There are 4 or 5 dozen kids, 300 plus, to choose from in the schools of that size. So you're always going to have a big offensive, defensive line. Whether or not they can control their schemes or things is always different. But we know that Lehi will be big and will be competitive.
And Coeur d'Alene, we're just looking at roster size. Lehi definitely has a few more players out there on their roster. A bigger school, more than likely, than Coeur d'Alene. But it's going to be a fantastic matchup nonetheless. Want to remind you, this is an IdahoSports.com game stream production of East Idaho game night. Even though we're here early today, starting off, it's still morning time here, 11 a.m. kickoff here in eastern Idaho. But this is presented by Teton Auto Group, also brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealer, Project Filter, and Valley-Wide Cooperative. We'll have our local sponsors as well, Knutson Chevrolet and Mountain West Bank. You'll be hearing from them a little later.
Lehi did win the toss, and they deferred to the second half.
So
Coeur d'Alene back deep is Gunnar Julio. Looks like number 2 as well, which is Isaiah Griffin, the senior cornerback and wide receiver. We talked yesterday, we had the smaller schools primarily, 3A. And you see most players will go both ways. Most of your best athletes will go both ways in the smaller schools. As you get up to the bigger schools, you do see that crossover quite a bit between wide receivers and your corners. But oftentimes your linemen are dedicated, offense or defense. And sometimes that doesn't play as big a role, maybe in the first or second quarter, but you get later on in the game, and you start bringing in some fresh legs, and it starts to make a difference.
Well, here we go. Lehi kicking off, the white tops and helmets and the purple pants.
Lehi got away with a drastic offside.
It's early.
On the kickoff.
Gunnar Julio brings it back across the 25 down at the 26, and that's where Coeur d'Alene will start their season. First game of the year, like we said, for all these teams in Idaho. That's almost true. There were a few games last week, but
for all of them in this tournament, or in the Rocky Mountain Rumble. And for Coeur d'Alene, you got to remember they are a team that went undefeated all through the regular season last year. They ended up eventually being beat by eventual state champions Rocky Mountain, and they are they're out for a little bit of revenge this year. They want to get back. They lost a close one on a miracle, for the most part, to Rigby the year before in the state championship game. So it'll be interesting. This is one of the 2 games that really received a lot of chatter coming into the Rocky Mountain Rumble.
The lefty slings it out complete across the 40, and he'll be stopped there. Reception was by number 21.
Yeah, that's Tanner Langley. Tanner Langley, the senior, 5'11". This is another thing you'll notice about this Coeur d'Alene group, too. They have a lot of seniors on their roster. We talked about the teams yesterday, particularly Green Canyon and Skyline, that'll have so many players return next year as well. This is a very senior-heavy team in Coeur d'Alene.
A run up the middle, going to be about 2 yards on the carry, it looks like.
Isaac Terrell brought him down, the defensive end, 6'2", 240. That's a good-sized defensive end in high school. That translates over, at the college level to probably about 280, 290 pounds once a kid, gets in a college weight room, starts packing those carbs. Yeah.
Starting quarterback for Coeur d'Alene, Braden Bengston, number 7. He's a senior, 6'1", a lefty. Back in the gun. He's got 3 wideouts to his right. Now man in motion is Julio. The pitch goes to Julio. Finds a room to run, and he's going to be right at the first down marker. It'll depend on the spot. Looks like the near side judge has him for a first down.
Yep, he does, and it'll be a little different. Sweat in on the tackle there for the Pioneers of Lehi. You're kind of a pioneer. You were the first one that ever wore that hairdo, and since then I have seen that by many, many people. Lauren, you are a downright pioneer.
I'm the first bald guy you've ever seen. That's impressive. Why don't you have good genes in your family? Back in the gun is Bengston. all by himself. He'll step up, avoid the rush, and overthrows. No, that ball got tipped and had an opportunity to be intercepted out there.
Yeah, it was very he's very fortunate not to have that interception. He was pressured by Isaac Terrell in the backfield. Isaac Terrell now making a couple big plays against Coeur d'Alene and the Vikings of Coeur d'Alene. How come most Vikings are blue and white? You know, you got like Pleasant Grove. You know, you had the Ricks College Vikings up here. They're blue and white. Of course, the Chalice Vikings out here, they're red and white. But
Minnesota Vikings
are purple, but that's close to blue.
Yeah.
You know, that's in the blue tint family.
Julio with the carry. He's going to pick up a couple, and he'll be driven back. It's going to be 3rd and 8 upcoming. We're just underway here in the first quarter. 10 minutes left here in the quarter.
Well, and Terrell in on that tackle again, along with McWhorter, who are doing an excellent job defensively. Now, Julio I wonder if he's the one from the song from Paul Simon. If me and Julio down by the schoolyard, was he the one that was down by the schoolyard?
We'll ask him at halftime. We'll have him on there and ask him at halftime.
Me and Lauren can't do a game without giving each other a hard time. You got to have fun, especially when you have 4 games ahead of you one day.
Back to pass. They set up the screen. He's got some blockers. 2 guys, though. What a play by the defense there to get off the blockers and take Julio down for no gain.
Yeah, and you're going to have some really good defense come out of these schools. You talk about Sweat, for example, got up there on that, as well as Tristan Royce defensively. When you get into these size of schools, you take a Lehi program like down there, and they're not necessarily one of the premier programs in the state of Utah, or at least one of the perennial programs, but they've still got 5-6 guys that'll end up in Division I programs. I mean, so these are good, good teams, and you'll get a number out of Coeur d'Alene as well.
Back to punt. Nice punt by number 15 for Coeur d'Alene. Drives him all the way back inside the 10, and he's going to get out just beyond the 15. Nice kick, nice coverage. That punt from James Elliott of Coeur d'Alene, number 15.
Brought down by number 65 from Coeur d'Alene. That's big old, I shouldn't say big old, he's a DN, but he's 6'1", 200 pounds. Cameron Davey, a junior, will return next year for Sean Amos and the rest of the coaches there, Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, take a look at that. Yeah, Sean Amos, longtime head coach for Coeur d'Alene, head coach for Lehi Pioneers. In his 8th year, it's Ed Larson. So the Pioneers, their first possession, start inside their own 20. Hit as he let go of it, and it's going to end up short. Almost took the sack.
Yeah, the intended receiver on that was Sweat. And, of course, we talked about Sweat on the defensive side, too. And, again, when you talk receivers, corners, some of your safeties and stuff, you'll see a lot of opposite side of the ball that they will play, just not as much with your offensive and defensive lines. A lot of these players will be dedicated to their specific position.
And the man who hit the quarterback there, Brousseau, that was Cameron Cope, the D end for Coeur d'Alene, 6'5", 220. So another big guy. You see him on the right side of that defensive line. He is a big kid.
Yeah.
Brousseau back in the gun. Handoff, room to run, and chopped down after about a 4-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 6 upcoming for the Pioneers.
Moore and Andrig ended up in on the defensive tackle on that. And Lehi, pardon me, for Coeur d'Alene, it was Mallory in on that tackle. And Coeur d'Alene, one of the things that they are going to have a little bit of a challenge with, you notice the difference between the lines right there. Lehi does have the bigger line, which opens it up for Lehi's runners to get into the secondary. The secondary is going to get a lot of action today from Coeur d'Alene. So the challenge they have is being able to get somebody down at that line.
Brousseau back to pass. Has his receiver for a first down and more. Out to the 37-yard line. That's number 13 on the reception, Steele Cooper. Nice pitch and catch from Brousseau to Cooper.
That's Collier in on the tackle for Coeur d'Alene. Coeur d'Alene has made quite a few substitutions the early part of this series for Lehi.
Yeah, they're really moving guys in and out. I noticed that on this possession. So Brousseau back there with Gonzalez in the backfield with him. Gonzalez gets the carry, gets a hole. They're going to have a flag come in, probably a holding penalty.
Yeah, it looks like a hold or maybe a face mask. We'll see exactly what that is. However, what a great job of following his blockers and being able to get some extra yardage out of that because he is not a big running back.
Carson Gonzalez. As it is holding against the offense. They'll replay, but back him up 10 yards from the spot. So that ball will be back now at the 28-yard line. And it'll be first and about 18 now.
Now, what famous movie was the city of Lehi a part of back in the 1980s? Yeah, Footloose. The Lehi Rolling Mills. That's where Kevin Bacon worked in the movie. Of course, the high school scenes were all shot down at Payson High School in the south end of the county.
That reception, number 84 for Lehi, Jackson Christensen.
You know, it was interesting. So I went into the Lehi Rolling Mills. This was a number of years ago. Went in because they sell these bags of like cookie mix and stuff, and they're really good to give out for little Christmas gifts to your neighbors and so forth. And I asked them, I said, "How come you don't have any pictures of Kevin Bacon and Sarah Jessica Parker and all those people in here from that?" And they said, "Because when it happened, we had no idea that the movie was ever going to be big. No one had ever heard of those people. You know, Kevin Bacon was unknown at the time, and of course, Footloose ended up being big."
Big hit as he caught the ball, a short gain. Reception by number 87, Boston Bingham.
Well, brought down by Mallory. What a great tackle. They were right on it. You know, one of the things that we have seen consistently throughout the Rocky Mountain Rumble so far is the ability for quarterbacks to complete passes with good defense as well. And it just makes the game that much more impressive.
Yeah, Bingham will come out after the hit, but Bingham, a good-sized tight end. Boston Bingham, 6'3", 210. A good-sized tight end for Lehi. They're passing the ball quite a bit. Both these teams will like to throw it. Back is Brousseau, stepping up in the pocket now. Little pressure, and his receiver kind of got turned around, and that was well overthrown. They wanted a pass interference as he got turned around. The coaching staff felt like he got hung up, which is why he got slowed down.
Yeah.
And they might have a point.
Yeah, they very well might have an argument in there. What it was more of just kind of a crowding situation where they did stay in their lanes, but he kind of had to adjust.
Ran into each other.
Yeah, and so I think just kind of the inadvertentness on that was what kept the flags in the pocket.
So that'll bring on the punt crew for Lehi for their first possession. 6:13 left here in the first quarter. Clock doesn't move a whole lot with all the passing. Punt is away. Good wobbly punt. Gunner picks it up and steps out of bounds.
Stepped out of bounds. Boy, that was
right at the 10.
He probably should have charged that. He's going to get an earful from the coaching staff when he gets over on the side.
He should have caught it in the air.
That was a catchable pass, and you could have got another 15 yards out of that. You know, instead you're back inside the 10-yard line, and you know, anytime you have that goal line close to your back, there's good things don't tend to happen as much as bad things tend to happen.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for the Lehi defense to try to make something happen defensively, either pin them deep or maybe force a turnover. So we'll see what Coeur d'Alene can do here on their second possession. 6:05 left here in the first. Short pass. Man, I think it got tipped, too, before it even got to the receiver. Kind of threw it off. The intended receiver was number 45 for Coeur d'Alene. Find him here. Troy D'Agostino.
Yeah, and he might have been anticipating a hit as well on that.
There's a lot of people.
I'll tell you, Coeur d'Alene's got to feel good about that defensive performance that they just put in. Even the passes that were complete, they had defenders right there.
Bengston pitches out. Not a lot of room to run. Ball comes free. There's a scrum, and Lehi thinks they've got it. We'll see. No. Coeur d'Alene recovered. I don't know who jumped on it. 41.
Yeah, it looked like it was number 41.
Was he the original?
Rob Collier.
Was he the original ball carrier on it as well?
I couldn't tell exactly who the ball carrier was. It looked to me like the ball carrier might have been Julio.
Okay.
It was a pitch.
Yeah. So Coeur d'Alene dodges a bullet there deep in their own end of the field.
Well, and he had to be hit in order for it to be a fumble because the pitch on this case was actually forward. which was a
like a forward
pass. So it would have been incomplete had it have dropped.
Bankston lost, and there's a flag. There's going to be a hold.
That's going to be a hold. They're not going to call pass interference on that. They're going to call a hold.
Defensive holding prior to that pass coming free. And now the coaching staff really upset because they wanted one on the last possession, and now there's a flag right on their sideline.
I'll tell you what, though, there was a bigger difference in the last one where there was bodies bumping, more so than there was when someone just flat out grabbed somebody. That's a different scenario.
And it is official, and they did call pass interference. I thought it happened prior to the pass.
So did I, because you could see the jersey stretch back prior to the pass, but.
So pass interference is the call. That'll give him a first down and some more breathing room out to the 27-yard line. But, yeah, that's as a coach, I understand the frustration. Like, man, the same play. And as an official, it's like that was not the same play. Totally different plays. Oh, boy, that lineman got just laid out over there. And then a hit on the quarterback. Number 55 just got bulldozed by number 45 for Lehi.
Well, the pass was intended for Griffin. It was well over his head. So, and today you don't have that wind to your back like you did yesterday as you were going from south to north. Today there's supposed to be almost no wind, and as we can see, the flag is just completely down. As far as wind goes. Anyway, it's a half staff, of course, for our fallen Marines. It's going to be on Lehi. It's going to be an encroachment.
Number 51 jumped. Tell you what, though, in that last play, Tamala, number 55 for Lehi. Excuse me, that's Cade Beck, number 55 for Lehi.
6'3", 280 pounds. He's a junior.
He just ran over the would-be blocker. Oh, excuse me, it was 45. My mistake. It was Kimball Tamala, 5'10", 245. He just ran over the offensive lineman. And another great defensive play there. Pass complete, but nowhere going with it.
Yeah, and the blocking duties on that was Colton Farrar, and Farrar just got blown past by the corner.
Nathan Anderegg, the one in there on the tackle. 6 foot, 180-pound junior defensive back for Lehi. And it's 3rd and 8. Skyline taking their time here as they come to the line.
7 games in the Rocky Mountain Rumble. And again, this is one of 2 that received the most chatter, going into it, that people felt this could really be a solid game.
And we're going to have a false start.
That was an easy call.
Yeah, the far side wideout took off like it was Canadian football.
Yeah, I even think the near side left a little early,
really?
too.
Okay, so both of the guys took off a little.
Yeah.
And as a wide receiver, I mean, really, all you're doing is watching the football.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't be taking off early, but
that's right. And the DB River Moore for Lehi had started to back up a little bit early, and I think that drew him. The offensive player to it, but that's not illegal for the defender.
So it's 3rd and 13 now. Bankston steps up, but he's going to get sacked in the backfield. He's going to lose another yard, and Lehi's defense steps up big time, forcing a punt here from Coeur d'Alene.
Well, what we're seeing right now is because I think the skill players for both teams appear to be fairly equivalent. What you're seeing right now is the size difference in the lines between Lehi and Coeur d'Alene. Lehi is just, I mean, this is very similar to what you would see at least in a junior college line, size-wise, and you got to consider the translation as well, get the false start on Coeur d'Alene, but you look at the translation sizes, and typically a guy that's recruited like as an offensive lineman that's 275, 280 pounds in high school ends up being about 315, 320-ish at the college level, most of the time, and receivers put on some weight, things like that, and so this is just a very big team.
Punt away, but it's low, so it's a return possible here, but good coverage as he'll get back to midfield. Return man there, Cadian Sweat.
Well, and you had Bridge that came in, and then, of course, number 54, Angelo Miller came in and put on that final hit, and he did it with just a little bit of attitude as well. He doesn't like how that series went for for Coeur d'Alene. So he wanted to make sure that hit was felt.
Yeah, there's been some good defensive play in this ball game. Right now, Lehi winning the field position battle as they've got a possession here starting right just shy of midfield. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. Man in motion's the tight end, number 85, McGarry. Back to pass. Across the middle, it's McGarry. Nice catch for a first down out to the 32-yard line.
Brought down from Julio. Strong safety for Coeur d'Alene. And again, he's one of those, the skill positions are one of those that do crossover. You'll even see that at this level. I think probably what we're going to see a little more of out of Coeur d'Alene because of the size differences. I think we're going to see a little bit more screen passing. I think we'll see some more misdirection, some hesitation than quarterback, runs, things like that. I think, those are ways to
slow down the rush.
That's right. Every defense can be beat, and every offense can be stopped. It just depends on who makes the adjustments and where they're made.
Brousseau this time will hand off to Gonzalez. Gonzalez with room around the edge, and he'll pick up about 5 or 6 before he's cut down at the 28-yard line.
Lehi High School, where Lehi High School sits, which is the far north end of Utah County, just south of Salt Lake County, what used to make up Lehi High School now has a total of 4 high schools in it. So you got Westlake, which is over in the Saratoga Springs area. You got Sky Ridge that just came in. You got Lehi, and then you got the new one out in Cedar Hills as well. That's out just kind of on the other side of the mountain. Those all at one time used to go to Lehi High School. So that kind of lets you know how that area has grown over the last number of years.
Brousseau lost his helmet. Holy cow. What a hit and a sack. That's Julio.
Well, Julio being on the offense, he's going to come in with a little attitude too after what happened last time. But the official looked at throwing a flag, and but he didn't hit him helmet to helmet. It wasn't a helmet to helmet hit. It looked like it was a good shoulder pad tackle.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, well, because he lost his helmet, so he has to. Yeah.
Brousseau will have to come out for a play because his helmet flew off.
And just so you know, that is not a rule in every single state. Oh. That is a state-by-state rule. It's an NFHS suggested rule, but it has not been adopted. Now, of course, college football has it.
Gonzalez, that was a high snap. Gonzalez able to help corral it and pick up at least back to near the line of scrimmage, original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th down and 11. We'll see if we see Brousseau back out onto the field.
And Evan Mallory, linebacker.
Gunner
up to make that tackle.
Gunner Julio came untouched right through the middle, unaccounted for, and he laid a hit on Jackson Brousseau.
So, this is typically the good go-for-it range in high school. However, you get into some of these bigger high schools like this, you have some players with some legs that can put it here, but they're going to go for it in this scenario.
Jackson Brousseau back in the game. Throws down the field, overthrew the intended target too far outside, and it'll be a turnover on downs.
Yeah, and the defense was actually excellent in that situation by the DV Sam Ency, the senior, 6'3", 175 pounds. He was right there, and he was going to force that pass to be exact on. And I think for a lot of these athletes, and a lot of your schemes that you look for, teams are going to make passes on you. They're going to complete some stuff. You've just got to make them earn everything they get, and that's really what Coeur d'Alene's got to do at this point because they are outsized at a number of positions, and so when it comes to defending Lehi, this is how you get stops, by making them earn what they do get, and then being there so when things are not, exactly on like that pass, you can force 4th down conversion misses and so forth. So those are some things to look at.
And a timeout called. There was some personnel issues for Coeur d'Alene. We could hear it in the coach's box next to us. So Coeur d'Alene will take a timeout. We're going to take the timeout as well. We are here at the 2021 Rocky Mountain Rumble. We'll be right back after this.
Banking. Maybe you enjoy the person-to-person attention you get going to your bank. Maybe you enjoy the convenience of banking from home sweet home. Or maybe you like the flexibility of paying your bills, applying for a loan, or talking to your personal banking person from wherever fits your fancy. Then definitely, you should bank at Mountain West Bank. Member FDIC. The easy, convenient, any way you want to bank.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
Well, after the timeout, we're back. Bankston back in the gun again. Little pressure, gets it away. He's got a receiver, but leads him too far.
Yeah, and a great route. Great route.
Isaiah Griffin was the intended receiver, and he had him. He just led him too far to the outside.
Just to kind of give you a little bit of insights to this game as well as we look at Lehi. So Ed Larson, I got a text from my good friend Ted Parkinson. Ed Larson, who is the coach for Lehi, he was the last offensive coordinator for Rick's College before their football program came to an end here, and he used to live in Salem, and his kids went to Sugar Salem, who played yesterday. He also replaced Dave Hastings as the head coach at Lehi, and Dave Hastings was the Sugar Salem coach before going down to Lehi.
Screen set up, incomplete over the head of Gunnar Julio, and he had three guys right in his face, did Bankston. Braden Bankston getting pressured a lot here early in the game.
Hema Katoa had an opportunity to pick that thing off dang near.
So it'll bring up 3rd and 10 now. 42 seconds. 42 seconds left here in the first quarter. A long first quarter here to start this ball game. Back to pass. Again, they set up the inside screen. This time caught. Did he control it and keep it? Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. And he actually, I think, had control of it before.
Yeah.
I believe it would have been a fumble had he not have been able to retain that. I could be wrong, but all the way out to the 49. And this is a good offensive possession for Coeur d'Alene, because what they're doing now is they're starting to negate the size of Lehi. These are the kind of plays you have to run to negate size. Otherwise, if you just want to go back and drop back in the pocket the whole time and spend time there, you're in a lot of trouble.
And you called it even prior to this series, talking about setting up more screens, and they've used that multiple times here, and we're going to have another false start from Coeur d'Alene.
Well, yesterday we had a second quarter of one game and a third quarter of another that we had to have 50 flags thrown between the two quarters, maybe more.
I'll tell you what, there is a docket of 8 games on IdahoSports.com for today. We've got 4 here, and then on the other side of the state over at Middleton High School, it's the 8-Man Classic. So if you want to see some 8-man football, which if you haven't seen 8-man football, you're in for a treat. There's 4 games going on over there. The owner extraordinaire of IdahoSports.com, Paul Kingsbury, he'll be over there for the 8-Man Classic.
And Charles Woodson, former NFL great, played 8-man high school football. And, of course, the number 3 overall draft pick 3 years ago out of Boise State. Played at little Salmon River High School. And Leighton Vander Esch, and played 8-man football, went as a preferred walk-on to Boise State, ended up being the number 3 overall pick to the Cowboys, and was a Pro Bowler as a rookie. It just shows you 8-man football. In fact, if you've never watched it, I always tell people that if you have never watched 8-man football, it probably is the funnest football to watch. It is not uncommon to see scores up in the 70s and 80s. You take 6 men off that field, and it gets really big, really fast.
Well, I saw one from last night. Butte County played Water Springs, and it was 77-17. That was the final score of that ball game.
Who ended up winning that game?
Butte County.
Butte County did, okay. Because you and I have Water Springs later this year against Grace.
Yeah. Butte County is a larger school but they play 8-man as well. They're a 1A D1, whereas Water Springs is 1A D2. But, yeah, Butte County for a few years they didn't have enough kids for a football team, and so they were combining a little bit.
Yeah, they combined with Chalice. Or Mackey, sorry, yeah.
And then
I think it was called Lost River, I think is what they called the team, was Lost River. And they were gray, they were black and light gray, I think, were their colors. Yeah.
But that co-op has since dissolved for football. They've got enough players, and so they're back to that. But timeout here. If you're in the market for a new Chevrolet or pre-owned vehicle, you'll find it at Knudsen Chevrolet in Post Falls. Browse their selection online at Knudsen.com or visit their showroom at 1900 East Polston Avenue in Post Falls. Knudsen Chevrolet, where friends have made friends since 1939. Knudsen Chevrolet for all your automotive needs and are proud supporters of North Idaho Athletics. Find new roads. Huge thanks to all of our sponsors as we start the second quarter here. That ball slung out to number 2, and he'll pick up maybe a yard or 2 on that. That's Isaiah Griffin with the reception. Second and 9 upcoming.
I really like what Coeur d'Alene has started to put together, and it really lets you know that your coaching staff, your head coach, your coordinators are recognizing what's happening and say, okay, now this is the hand we've been dealt. This is who we're playing against. This is their size. This is their strengths. Let's make adjustments.
A lot of more quick passes here from Bankston. That time he hands off to Julio. Julio can't get away from the shoe tackle, and he'll get tackled back at the 50 for a short loss.
Yeah, it was Blake Jenkins that came up and made that tackle on that play. And I think Julio, if you noticed, he just slipped just a teeny bit, or he might have been able to avoid that first tackle and picked up a few more yards. So one of those turf monster happenings there. I really like what Coeur d'Alene's doing, though. I love these play calls, and I don't want to sound biased or anything, because I really like the Coeur d'Alene schools. I just like the schools up in that area. I think they always represent very well, and I think their student athletes, just seem to be absolute top class.
That pass was intended for number 84, the tight end, Cameron Cope. He wasn't ready for it, though, and it was just a little high. It'll fall incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th down and almost 10, so they'll punt it away here. The defense is showing out here early in the second quarter. 10:35 left here in the second quarter. Thanks for joining us for the 2021 Rocky Mountain Rumble. Lehi facing off against Coeur d'Alene. Punt gets away and takes a beautiful bounce out of bounds at about the 5. Great punt down at near the 4, it looks like. No, right at the 5.
Right at the 5. What a fantastic punt, and it was well placed. It wasn't accidental for that to go there. I mean, that was a well placed punt, and that's considering Tua dang near got blocked. It was a situation of a lot of pressure in the backfield.
James Elliott, number 15, the punter for Coeur d'Alene, his second punt of the game, and that was a beauty. All the way down to the 5, got it out of bounds, and that's where Lehi will take over on their possession. Back in there, Jackson Brousseau, junior quarterback, 6'5", 215. Good-sized quarterback for the Lehi Pioneers. And what are we going to do here?
I don't know if the defender was pulled off or if he encroached and it was a reflex. We'll see.
Cope took off. I think Cope caused it. We'll see. No, they're going to say false start. I thought Cope caused it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, benefit in that situation was Lehi, because it being on them is only half distance to the goal, where it would have been a full 5 yards had they've gone the other way. So it didn't hurt Coeur d'Alene near as bad. When I said benefit Lehi, I meant Coeur d'Alene. It didn't hurt them near as bad.
So a 2.5-yard penalty. Handoff up the middle. Gonzalez finds room to run. A big hole, and he's out across the 15.
Well, first one to get out to him, ended up being Mallory, but I'll tell you what, and that's a good key, because I think again, we talked about it towards the first of the game. If you're Lehi, if you can get into that secondary, some good things are going to happen for you. If you can get into it, and because of the line size difference, that is something that they should be able to do. So now Coeur d'Alene's got to make those adjustments. Well, how do you do that? You start bringing your linebackers up a little bit, because you don't want to give them that extra cushion.
Yeah, no safeties back here, really, as they're all wideouts here for Lehi. Pass is caught and hit immediately, and they call a flag. He got him around the face mask.
Yep, he did. I think that was Isaiah Griffin, I believe, number 2.
Yeah, 2-2. The reception was Cooper Felix, a wide receiver for Lehi Pioneers, and he just a little bit of face mask on that. It's probably going to be an incidental version.
We'd like to give a big shout out to our camera guy Josh and our spotter today, CJ. as they're both helping us out today. Of course, CJ yesterday had some camera duty as well, and we welcomed him into the Idaho Sports family as we have this year for Josh, and grateful for both of them being a part of our team.
Yep, Josh, our rookie, here with us today for Idaho Sports. Brousseau down the field, had a receiver, just led him too far. That was intended for Steele Cooper, the senior wide receiver, 165 pounds.
Yeah, and the defense was good again.
It was. It's right with him.
We've seen some overthrows today for some receivers that have been right there. But one thing we can establish, we have some quarterbacks with some arms.
Yeah, both these guys can put it down the field.
And both of them have good arms, and you got to imagine that some places are looking at them,
Especially with Brousseau, the size of Brousseau. He's just a junior, but 6'5", 205. As there goes Gonzalez. Gonzalez, nice cut back inside, pick up about 6 yards. It'll be 3rd and 4 upcoming. And Gonzalez gives me hope that, hey, I could have been a running back at a big school. He's only 5'10", 160. I mean, had I put on about 10 pounds in high school, I could have been out there.
Well, and if you'd have hit the weight room, and if you'd have had some genetics, you could have ran faster than a 10-second 40.
Hey, I was pretty quick back in the day. Now, the weight room was a different story. I was benching about 95.
Did you have that same hairdo that started a trend that was the pioneering trend?
It was thin, but it wasn't all gone yet. I was pretty quick.
I can't say much. Mine's completely gray. So
at least you have it still. Wide open across the middle is Kobe Moore. He's still running down the sideline. It's a foot race. He'll get knocked out of bounds at about the 15-yard line.
I'll tell you what, there was a block downfield by Steele Cooper, the senior wide receiver for Lehi, that gave another 15 yards to the end of that play. It was such a sensational block. He kind of came up out of nowhere. I hadn't noticed him until he threw the block.
And there was just a mistake there defensively as Moore was wide open in the middle of the field. There wasn't anybody within 15 yards of him, and then he had a nice, like you said, some help, good blocking down the field for a big pickup, put him inside the red zone. 1st and 10. Handoff to Gonzalez. To Lauren Jensen. Inside the 5 to the 2.
Great run. You're going to be a 1st and goal, from that 2-yard line. It looked like it was Woolley that came up, either Woolley or Short, that came up and ended up making that tackle for Coeur d'Alene. Might have been Short on that. Also want to give a big shout-out to my good friend Ted Parkinson. Ted watches a lot of our games. He's a good friend to IdahoSports.com, and he's one that I get a text from him sometimes during the game, and he gives us that insight like he did on Ed Larson, and just want Ted to know how much that we appreciate him at Idaho Sports and the good friend that he has been to us.
It goes to Gonzalez again. This time he'll get just back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and goal now at the 3.
In fact, speaking of Ted, he helps out coaching Sugar, and of course I live in Sugar. I do the PA for Sugar, and it's been fun over this number of years. So sometimes I'll just pop by his office and we'll sit down and just kind of shoot the breeze, and it's fun to have friends like that. That you can just kind of talk about sports with, and what's going on, and it's a lot of fun. IdahoSports.com does a lot around the state.
Brousseau back in the gun. 2nd and goal. Handoff goes to number 32. Touchdown Lehi on the carry. And you're going to have to say this, Lance. Helaman, number 32.
Helaman Ofahengawi.
There we go. Ofahengawi.
Ofahengawi.
I got it. Lance spent some time speaking, what language was it?
Tongan.
Tongan. So he's pretty good at pronouncing some of these Polynesian names. But a touchdown for Lehi gives them a 6-0 lead. The PAT is up and good.
Out in the parking lot.
But it missed the vehicles,
yeah,
so that's good.
We really wanted to hit vehicle out there so we'd have something to talk about. Josh, you make sure you follow that ball after a field goal. We want to – if something gets broke, we want to have it. That's right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
in case anybody needs proof.
So-
Again, that's kind of like parking your vehicle behind the home run fence at a Little League game.
Yeah.
You know, something's going to happen.
Lehigh takes the lead here, 7-0, with 7:12 left to go in the second quarter.
Well, let me tell you some silver linings there for Coeur d'Alene. You know, even though Lehigh marched down and scored, we're at 7:12 left in the second quarter before Lehigh put their first score up on the board, and I felt in their last offensive possession that Coeur d'Alene learned some good things about themselves and learned some things that could work. Now they had some, a couple target issues on a couple things and had a slipping issue, but I think what they've gone to can sustain them. And I think they can score with that if they'll stay with it. It looks to be something that gave them some positive momentum and kind of thwarted that size difference.
Well, and even defensively, really, that big play, of course, is what set up that touchdown. You take away that one big play, this defense has really done a really good job against Lehigh thus far. Low liner going to be taken at the 3 and returned. Room to run for Gunnar Julio. He's still on his feet. There is a flag out at the 36-yard line about the point where Julio returns. We'll see. I'm guessing it's going to be a holding penalty
Either
against
holding or
Coeur
an
d'Alene.
illegal block.
We'll wait for the signal from our white hat.
It will be a spot foul.
Our officials out of the 5th District for most of this tournament, or for this Rocky Mountain Rumble, and this is one of the best down there in District 5.
Illegal block against the returning team. 15-yard penalty. It will be first down.
So a block below the knees, an illegal block, negates some of that return all the way back to the 21-yard line.
See, CJ's sitting next to me here, and he said, "I think that official needs some cardio." And he sounded wiped out when he was making that call. He had to catch his breath a time or two in the middle of that. This is yeah, he might have been skipping cardio. I think our officiating has been quite good today.
Yeah, this crew, one of the best out of District 5, in my opinion. And
False start.
We're going to have a false start, man. And that is plagued. That's the 3-4 at least false starts from Coeur d'Alene.
Yep, and it's typically come from the receivers.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's come from the receivers.
So a 5-yard penalty backs them up further. Now the ball sitting at the 16, 1st and 10,
Well,
1st and 15.
And the hard thing about a penalty like that is it changes your 4-down rhythm because it changes the plays that you were going to call. Oftentimes, put you in a hole. It's like getting down early in a ball game. It kind of changes your scheme a bit.
Bankston gets it out in the flat to Cope, but Cope can't corral it. Incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd and 15, and even if Cope catches that, he's going nowhere. He was hit immediately.
Well, and you had Hank Griffin down there defensively that was just right on him, so he wasn't going to go anywhere, no matter what. Again, though, these are plays that Coeur d'Alene is able to get off. They're able to do them, and the pass was there.
I'd like to see, they've worked a lot to the outside. It'd be nice to see if they could get something, a crossing route, something across the middle. Man in motion is Cope. Now he'll reset. They'll sling it out to Cope, and that's a hard pass to catch.
Yeah.
That's things moving. Plus, again, the defender right there.
Cope, a basketball player as well.
Yeah, good-sized athlete, 6'5", 220. He's a senior. And now it's 3rd and 15 after those 2 incomplete passes. They're trying to work it, quick passes to avoid that rush, so Bankston doesn't have to hang on to it so long.
One of the things I've always enjoyed about Coeur d'Alene is the demeanor of their athletes. They get excited and stuff, but they just have always seemed to be very disciplined athletes.
And as he tries to make his cut, number 41, Coeur, slips and goes down to his knees.
And again, folks, who are watching this game, this is not for lack of calling the right plays here. These are the right plays.
Yeah.
Players have to execute them when they're done, but these are some good plays that are taking advantage of the opportunity to negate the size that the Lehi Pioneers bring to the field. Because you don't always notice it on TV, but we notice it when we're watching live, the size difference.
Good punt, gets away, drives him backwards to the 45, and they've got some good coverage there. But he does get to the corner and then pushed out of bounds right at the opposite 45. So inside of Coeur d'Alene territory, Lehi will have another good possession here with a short field.
Folks, don't forget, coming up today as well at 2 p.m. will be Pocatello versus Ogden High School. Then, of course, Highland out of Pocatello versus Alta. That's another 6A school down in the state of Utah, Alta. And then Madison will be our nightcap as they're the host school, and they will face Bear River out of Tremont, Utah. And then Madison has to travel north to Lewiston next week. And so they kind of get to take the same kind of trip that Coeur d'Alene took this week.
Back to pass, down the field. He's got his receiver, and it's knocked away. I don't like that call.
I don't
I thought
either.
there was a little touch, but he knocked that ball away. I thought that was fantastic defense from the backside of it from Isaiah Griffin.
I agree as well, and this is what I don't like about that call. Yeah, both players were jostling, but they were jostling their hands back and forth. There was no touch once the ball was able to be caught. He didn't block the hand at that point, and that's why I don't like this call, because it was just jostling down the field. But then once the ball was there, it was a catchable ball and not interfered with by the defender.
And he did a good job. As soon as the ball got there, he swiped down and knocked it away. I thought Griffin did a pretty good defensive job. Granted, we have the backside view. Maybe there's something more on the front side. But anyways, it's a 15-yard penalty on the pass interference. And at the 30-yard line, 1st and 10 for Lehi. 6 minutes left here in the second quarter. Screen set up. Gonzalez takes the play, shoots through the middle. He is quick. Man, he looks like me. First down for Gonzalez, down to the 12.
Brought down by
down to
Coeur
14,
d'Alene's
excuse me.
Nolan Christ.
It's just like watching yourself.
Wow, I tell you.
I'm feeling good about myself today, Lance.
If you can't have fun broadcasting, you can't have fun. Yeah, I'll tell you a story about CJ here in a little while. When we have a little more time, we're going to air a story about our buddy CJ here.
Set up a little receiver screen there, and pretty good coverage that time. That was caught by number 87, I believe, Boston Bingham.
41 Collier in on the tackle for that as well. Such a beautiful facility. We talked about it, and how this is a dedicated football/soccer facility, as you got the track that usually surrounds most high school football fields. You got the track now over on the east side, and it's a dedicated track facility. And of course, you got the new field house with a half football field in it and a bunch of indoor tennis courts as well. Just a beautiful high school setup, very similar to what you'd find at a college.
Big hit as he lets go of it, and that'll fall incomplete. But a nice hit again. That was Gunnar Julio who put the pressure on Jackson Brousseau.
Yeah, very much so. And he was guarded by Elliott. Elliott with the tight defense assignment on him. It would have been, had the pass have been on, it would have been very difficult to complete that with Elliott right on him defensively.
So it's 3rd and 8. They say 3rd and 8. It's not 3rd and 8. It's 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
The board says 3rd and 8 with 4:44, all fours left here in the first half.
A lot of fours in that statement.
Yes. Brousseau again to the pylon. This time it's caught. He dives for the edge. Touchdown, Lehi. Number 84 on the reception, Jackson Christensen, 6-foot senior, and now it's 13-0.
Yeah, you look at that, 6 foot, 175. That is just really almost a quintessential size for a high school receiver, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just for your average high school receiver size out there. It's a very athletic size of kid.
PAT, snap and hold are good, and it's up and good. Knocked in by number 29.
And we got a hit out in the parking lot.
Yeah, nice.
Good bumper hit.
Zane Goodrich knocks in the PAT.
Someone's Chevy Impala.
Just got impaled.
That's right.
14-0 here. I want to thank Knudsen Chevrolet again. If you're in the market for a Chevrolet or a pre-owned vehicle, you'll find it at Knudsen Chevrolet in Post Falls. Browse their selection online at Knudsen.com or visit their showroom at 1900 East Polston Avenue in Post Falls. Knudsen Chevrolet, where friends have made friends since 1939. That's like just a couple years before you were born, Lance.
That is.
Knudsen Chevrolet.
Did you say 1939?
Yeah.
That's actually the year both my parents were born.
That's funny.
I was born in 1970, however. So.
For all your automotive needs and proud supporters of North Idaho athletics, find new roads from Knudsen Chevrolet.
So I have some Knutsens in my family, but they spell it slightly different.
Interesting. Yeah, that's Knudtsen for Knudsen.
Yep,
Chevrolet.
and in my family, Knudsen, there is no T in it.
Okay. So. Taken by Julio. He finds a seam up the middle, still on his feet, and finally brought down again across the 35 to the 36.
I'll tell you, Julio is a gamer. That kid is an absolute competitor. Tristan Royce in on the tackle for that. But this, I really like Julian. I just think he is a very, very, very good, or Julio, pardon me, very good gamer out on the field. He wants to win a ball game. You just see it in everything that he does. And it's not that the other players don't, but you can really just see it in his body language.
Well, I've got to give a shout-out to Abby with the Coeur d'Alene Viking team. She's up on top of the booth here filming. She helped us out with all the pronunciations for some of the different names here for the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. That was a big one. She said it's Julio. Said often he'll get Gulio, and he plays so much. She's like, his parents have to be just cringing in the background, but it is Julio, so thank you, Abby.
Well, right there, Langley. And Langley's helmet came off. Here he comes off the field.
Yeah, he had the carry and was kind of juking and jiving. Picked up a couple of yards, but like you said, his helmet flew off on that last hit. Tanner Langley, senior wide receiver and safety. So back in the gun is Bankston, and false start.
Boy, these false starts, they've got to have 25, 30 yards worth of false starts today. And they'll start making a bigger impact the deeper you get down in a game. Already down 14-0, those tend to compound even a little bit harder at that point.
And there's, that's something that the first game of the season for Coeur d'Alene, that's now obvious to everyone that's something we got to fix.
Yeah.
Because you can't have that continue to happen throughout the season. This game, just more of an exhibition game, if you will, but as they get into conference play and deeper into the playoffs, that you can't have those things.
Yep. Because those are things that don't.
Picked off. Great job jumping the route. Number 23, he's down the sideline. We're going to have a flag. It's coming back because of a bad block, but jumping that route.
River Moore, the interception. That's a great name.
It's just
River Moore.
And he
or
just
if it was
flowed
opposite
to the
and
insert.
It was Moore River.
More River.
But River Moore.
That was a great play. He jumped that route, and there's a bad block that's going to bring it back, but so it's not going to be 21-0. But it will be Lehi ball.
And with 3:22 left, plenty of time for Lehi, too, to put another score up on the board.
Illegal block in the back on the offense. 10-yard penalty. It will be first down.
So after the interception, an illegal block in the back will bring the ball back to the 43-yard line for Lehi.
Yeah, the illegal block in the back came early, but the sad thing again is it's something that wouldn't have affected the outcome of the play. It didn't benefit, his player to be able to do it. But this is a great opportunity as well for Coeur d'Alene to make a statement. Make a statement here going into the half. Get a stop here.
Make a statement. Stepping up. Down the field. What a catch by number 21, Sweat, for Lehi. 2 men on him, and it's over the shoulder. What a beautiful pitch and catch from Brousseau to Sweat.
Mallory in on that again, and I'll tell you what, that's another one. The defensive coverage was fantastic. That's as good as you can cover without getting pass interference called on you. That was nice and tight and just better offense.
Ball perfectly placed. And Lehi threatening to go up 3 scores here with 2:53 left, and a false start against Lehi, I'm assuming this time.
Looks to be. Yep, it is. For folks watching this game, and of course we're going to have probably more Coeur d'Alene people because they're familiar with Idaho sports. But if you have never been to Coeur d'Alene before, Coeur d'Alene is stunning. Doesn't even give it credit. It is so beautiful, and good people. Man, good people up in Coeur d'Alene. CJ has a family member up there. And Coeur d'Alene is just absolutely one of the gems of the country, not just of Idaho, but of the country.
They've got a receiver out there. Oh, what a hit. The ball was caught, but he got absolutely leveled. Carson Gonzalez. I take it back. I don't want to be Carson Gonzalez.
Hancy on the hit.
Ooh.
That's one of those where your ears ring for about a year.
He got popped, and the helmet's coming off over there as he's going to take a little breather. They'll take a look at him.
Hits like that remind me of I remember, back when Patrick Ewing was playing in the NBA and stuff, and he made the statement. He says, every time I go inside offensively, I try to dunk it on somebody. And he says, and it's going to be painful. And he says, you might draw a charge on me, but you're going to think twice before you try to draw that again because I'm going to make it very painful. That's one of those kind of hits. It's like you might complete this pass. You might catch it. But you're going to have to think twice next time you do that.
Yeah, next time you're not going to
want
hurt.
To. Yeah. and hopefully you get them in a state where they start short-arming that, because that was a textbook old-school football hit that's completely legal, and just a good hit. And I think we are going to see a different Coeur d'Alene team in half number 2. They'll make some good halftime adjustments. But let's face it, let's give credit where it's due. I mean, Lehi is a very good team. They're a very good football team.
Yeah, that
1-1, and you got to remember their only loss was in overtime to another 6A school at Davis. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Davis down in Utah, that's Lagoon. If you're familiar with the Lagoon theme park down there, that's where Davis is. Davis High School. Yep.
So Brousseau with 2nd and goal back there. I think back there with him is Isaac Mills this time. Mills takes the carry, hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss back at the 14-yard line.
What a great defensive play by 84 Cameron Cope. He's also a tight end. Talk about 6'5", 220. Good basketball player as well, senior.
So now what was 1st and goal inside at about the 6 is now 3rd and goal out at the 12 or 13-yard line. And, the defense for Coeur d'Alene has really played pretty well. Unfortunately, Lehi's had some short fields, and they've been able to convert those into touchdowns. That turnover hurt them. But the defense has actually played pretty well. Ball inside, nearly picked off in the end zone by Coeur d'Alene, and Brousseau goes down again. And who else but Gunnar Julio in there putting the pressure on him.
Julio's a gamer. This is a kid that if I had to go into war, I want to follow that kid in because he is a gamer. Yep. Yeah, and it helps the guy up afterwards, And the thing is, he helped him up, not even knowing if that was caught for a touchdown or not. That's good sportsmanship. Part of the class that I've always liked about the Coeur d'Alene athletes.
Goodrich on for the field goal. It's up. It's got the distance, and it's good. No problem.
Goodrich is good. Are we going to get a hit? No, it stops just short of the Chevy Silverado.
So it's 17-14 now. There's a souvenir for you if you go get that football. 1:25 left here. I don't think they'll let you keep them here, though.
No, not a football. A baseball, maybe. I remember when I was a kid, I'd go watch baseball. I grew up as a little kid in Cedar City, Utah, before moving to Malad, Idaho for my high school years. But I remember going and watching the high school baseball games. I loved baseball as a kid, still do. And if you went and got a foul ball and brought it back, they'd give you a free small slushie at the slushie stand, you know. And so I'd sit out there with my buds, and I was pretty quick, you know, kind of like you, Lauren.
Yeah.
And I would
not as quick as me.
No, not, but fairly, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd get a lot of those, and I'd come home on such a sugar rush from down in those slushies, those little snow cones, whatever they were, at the time. And I'll tell you, it was worth it, you know. And the thing is, you could keep the ball if you wanted to, and occasionally I'd keep one, you know, just to have a few. But I'll tell you, those slushies were so good. And we'd get down there at old Cedar City High School at the baseball games.
That's how they got most of their balls back. That's why they did that.
That's
they
right.
offered the slushie so they could get the ball back.
Yeah, and then they stopped doing the slushies, and they started giving you a 10 cents off, which back then was kind of a big deal for like an ice cream cone at a local hometown restaurant. So either way.
That return will go back to the 22, and now tons of whistles. In comes a flag.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be on Coeur d'Alene.
I think you're right as well.
A little extracurricular, and it's going to be a half the distance to the goal because it'll be disciplinary.
So a 15-yard penalty probably upcoming. Maybe we get the ever-famous offsetting penalties. We'll see. But
saw that yesterday.
It's going to be a tough go here for Coeur d'Alene. Definitely going to have to make some changes at halftime, discuss what they're going to try to do to come out and get back into this game.
Personal foul, late hit on the receiving team, half the distance to the goal. It'll be first down.
So that's what it is.
Exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, a late hit on Coeur d'Alene. It'll back them up to the just outside the 11, actually, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Vikings. And right now it's all Lehi fully in charge of this ball game. They forced a turnover, scored on that possession. Some short fields have given them a couple of touchdowns as well. Handoff goes to number 41 on the carry for Coeur d'Alene. That is Collier. Collier.
Yeah, Collier, the senior. 5'8", 182. I'll tell you what, for being 5'8", 182 is pretty stout.
Yeah, he's a stocky kid.
And, you know, he gets that good low center of gravity,
right.
and 182, you know, you get some speed behind you, and that's tough to bring down.
This time, Bankston back to pass. It's caught. Oh, goodness gracious. They're going to go helmet to helmet on that, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
It wasn't intentional, but it was helmet to helmet.
And you don't see Anderegg even complaining at the call. I think he realized, yep, I went a little high on that, and right into the face mask. And, yeah, kudos to the receiver for popping right back up.
We're going to have a little discussion about it to see. And there was helmet-to-helmet contact, and I think that's
I love the way that that they do some things on concussion protocol and stuff. A lot more safety in the game today. When I was a kid, it was more like
leading with the helmet, defense, 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, and that's not an automatic ejection in high school, just so folks know out there like it is in college. But, as a kid, it was more like, well, how many fingers am I holding up? And they'd hold up 2, and you're like, 3? Well, that's close. You only one off, go back out there, Where now, they've got a lot more protocol out there for athletes, and parents worry about that. You always do. You worry about your children and the kind of shots they're taking. And so, I think the rules have helped out a lot.
Bankston on the run. And too far outside for his intended receiver, number 88 that time, Colton Farrar.
Bankston is a sensational athlete, by the way. You can see that, and you can see that. If they're playing a team that's not quite the size of a Lehi, he has some time in the pocket. Wow, he's deadly. He's got a fantastic arm.
Yeah, he's just been forced around because of the pressure from Lehi. He's been forced out of the pocket a lot and
you
rushed.
And you notice Lehi does not cross over on their offensive and defensive line. Their offensive line is massive. The defensive line is not as big, but very strong, and very quick.
Bankston off the back foot misses his intended receiver Isaiah Griffin.
Been pressured by Isaac Terrell in the backfield. And Isaac, we've called his name a bunch today. He's only a junior. The DN, 6'2", 240. Which right there is kind of almost a tight end size for college. But playing a really good defensive end spot there.
3rd and 10 now for Coeur d'Alene. They just haven't been able to get anything going offensively. Bankston back, runs into his running back, and then completes the pass, but for no gain. And it'll be 4th down and about 8 or 9.
Yeah, Hayden Griffin, the junior DB.
And with 30 seconds left here, Lehi will call a timeout.
Considering the score, it's 17-0. This game, if you didn't look at the scoreboard, it feels more like a 24-21 kind of game. Meaning it feels like a high-scoring game. It's just not overall.
So with the timeout, we'll take that timeout as well. We'll step away. We'll be back here for the last 30 seconds of the first half, the Rocky Mountain Rumble here on IdahoSports.com.
Banking. Maybe you enjoy the person-to-person attention you get going to your bank. Maybe you enjoy the convenience of banking from home sweet home. Or maybe you like the flexibility of paying your bills, applying for a loan, or talking to your personal banking person from wherever fits your fancy. Then definitely, you should bank at Mountain West Bank. Member FDIC. The easy, convenient, any way you want to bank.
Welcome back here to IdahoSports.com. East Idaho game night here at the 2021 Rocky Mountain Rumble at Madison High School, Bobcat Stadium, a beautiful facility on a beautiful day here in Rexburg, Idaho, as the Vikings punting away here right at the end of the second quarter. Nice high punt. Going to be taken and dropped immediately. I was surprised he didn't call for the fair catch there. But
yeah, and really it was great discipline by Eastlick. Not to
hit him early.
Not to hit him early.
Yeah.
It was actually, I thought it was Eastlick. It actually looks like it was number 35, Hagel. Joseph Hagel. 21 is back out there for Lehi.
Yeah, he was the one, Tanner Langley, that took the hit.
Pardon me for Coeur d'Alene. Yeah, Langley. My bad. I'd like to give a shout out to my nephew, McKay Hillstead, down at Skyridge High School. They were a breakoff from Lehi. 6A down there. They're 3-0 to start out their season and have yet to be scored on this year.
Very nice.
Kay Hillstead started last year as a sophomore, has some college offers, just a junior this year, their quarterback.
Ball came loose, and Coeur d'Alene picked it up. Gonzalez put it on the turf, and Coeur d'Alene gets the...
Yeah, and it's going to be a personal foul on Coeur d'Alene. Dang, because really, that's unfortunate because you're in a position where a nice, good pass puts you probably in field goal range, and you can have a chance to get on the board before halftime.
So we'll see. It does look like this, just from what we saw, it looked like a Coeur d'Alene player pushed a Lehi defender back to the ground as he was leaving that scrum.
It's going to be 15 yards to come back near midfield, and that hurts.
That kills you.
That's a discipline issue, and I've talked about how well disciplined the Coeur d'Alene players always are, but you still are going to have some times when that kind of stuff happen. We are dealing with with high school youth and those kind of things happen. I think Collier will learn from that. Think about it again, and for Coeur d'Alene, possibly go down and get a score. I mean, you've got 19 seconds on the clock. It gives you, that's a couple pass attempts right there. You might get yourself, if not in the end zone, potentially at least to field goal range.
And they do have 2 timeouts as well as Coeur d'Alene, so opportunities to stop the clock if needed. They sling it out, Got some blocking. There goes Julio. He's got a man to beat, gets the first down, and tripped up at the 35, so a good play there.
They've got 2 timeouts to use. They're going to use one of them here with 10 seconds left. The sad thing is you put that same play from where they were before, and you've got a legit shot at the end zone.
And you're in field goal range.
And you're in field goal range.
So not in field goal range unless they've just got a heck of a leg on their kicker, which is number 15. He's been doing the punting anyways, has Elliott. I don't see their just a straight up.
I don't see a designated kicker listed on their roster, but we have a lot of kids that we don't list even a position.
Yeah, they're multi-tool guys. They just play wherever they're needed.
Yeah. Yep.
So a timeout here again. Remember, if you want to join the team here at IdahoSports.com, we're always on the lookout for talented people that want to get involved in what we do. Salespeople, producers, camera operators, writers, photographers, even broadcasters. Email editor@IdahoSports.com to find out more. And quitting smoking, chewing, or vaping is tough, but so are you. If you're ready to quit, there is help. Visit projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW and call that today. Remember to stay tuned for the post-game show. We're going to name our IdahoSports.com player of the game. It's only close to halftime, but stick around for that.
Got a few players vying for it right now.
Yes, sir, we do. And Lehi, there's several guys on their side that could be picked, and a couple from Coeur d'Alene as well if they can make something happen here at the end of the quarter.
Remember, this is just the first of 4 games today.
And a bad snap, low, gets away, and it's going to push them all the way back to the 47-yard line.
See, and these are just the things that have hurt Lehi, that have hurt Coeur d'Alene, those penalties, particularly the false starts, and then you get the personal foul penalty, snap into somebody's ankles, things that have nothing to do with the team you're playing.
Yep.
And everything to do with stuff that you can control yourself. And those are the things you have to clear the mistakes up first. The stuff that you can control yourself, that you're not forced into, those are the things that you've got to clear up. Because those are those unforced errors, on a team that you just got to take care of those. It's tough to win ball games if you don't.
Another timeout and the final timeout for Coeur d'Alene of the half with 7 seconds left here in the second quarter. Just remind you that of our major sponsors, the presenting sponsor for East Idaho Game Night, the Teton Auto Group, your local Toyota dealer, Toyota Let's Go Places, Valley-wide Co-op and country stores. We stopped there. I think you did too, Lance, this morning. Picked up some stuff. Great place. Visit Valley-wide Co-op and Project Filter, Idaho Fights Tobacco. And if you would like to join all of our great advertisers on IdahoSports.com and advertise your business, contact sales at IdahoSports.com for more information. We get a lot of traffic to the site. We get a lot of people listening into these broadcasts. There's tons of opportunities to get your business name out there. So contact sales at IdahoSports.com.
Well, and we've got our first points of the NCAA football season. It comes on a safety during a punt return. So 2 points put up by Illinois.
Good for them. So a completed pass at the end of the half, but it'll be obviously well short of anything of the end zone. And that will end the first half. As we head into halftime, the Lehi Pioneers march off with a 17-point lead over the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. We're going to step away for a halftime break. We'll be back for a little halftime show, discuss how the first half went. You're listening to the 2021 Rocky Mountain Rumble and watching it live here on IdahoSports.com. We'll be right back.
Start planning for back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
Lead the charge into a brighter future with the all-new 2022 Volkswagen ID4. With an EPA estimated range of 250 miles, the ID4 knows how to go the distance. It's an electric SUV that's as fun to drive as it is stylish and functional. You don't have to sacrifice good looks for great performance. So So stop by our dealership today and jumpstart your year with the Volkswagen ID4. Teton Volkswagen, where it's always no problem to buy and service your vehicle.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
We're Valleywide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valleywide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Scott here from Teton Honda in Pocatello. Our dealership operates on a no-problem philosophy that's designed to put you in charge of your next vehicle purchase. Prefer to shop online? No problem. Evenings or weekends? No problem. Need a wide range of financing and leasing options? No problem. So whether it's one of our beautiful new Hondas or just a vehicle that's new to you, at Teton Honda, we'll help you find the perfect vehicle for your needs. Experience car buying like never before at Pocatello's only no problem dealership.
Banking. Maybe you enjoy the person-to-person attention you get going to your bank. Maybe you enjoy the convenience of banking from home sweet home. Or maybe you like the flexibility of paying your bills, applying for a loan, or talking to your personal banking person from wherever fits your fancy. Then definitely, you should bank at Mountain West Bank. Member FDIC. The easy, convenient, any way you want to bank.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
It's time to start planning for back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
Lead the charge into a brighter future with the all-new 2022 Volkswagen ID4. With an EPA estimated range of 250 miles, the ID4 knows how to go the distance. It's an electric SUV that's as fun to drive as it is stylish and functional. You don't have to sacrifice good looks for great performance. So stop by our dealership today and jumpstart your year with the Volkswagen ID4. Teton Volkswagen, where it's always no problem to buy and service your vehicle.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, it's readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
We're Valleywide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valleywide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Scott here from Teton Honda in Pocatello. Our dealership operates on a no-problem philosophy that's designed to put you in charge of your next vehicle purchase. Prefer to shop online? No problem. Evenings or weekends? No problem. Need a wide range of financing and leasing options? No problem. So whether it's one of our beautiful new Hondas or just a vehicle that's new to you, at Teton Honda, we'll help you find the perfect vehicle for your needs. Experience car buying like never before at Pocatello's only no problem dealership.
I'm Dr. Christine Hahn. I'm an infectious disease doctor, and I'm Idaho's medical director for public health. It's my mission to keep our communities healthy and safe. That's why I believe every Idahoan should get their COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine's been tested. It's proving to be very safe, and it's the most effective tool we have to stop the spread.
Walk into a pharmacy or visit covidvaccine.idaho.gov to find your free COVID-19 vaccine.
Welcome back here to halftime. We got a couple minutes before the second half kickoff. The Lehi Pioneers on top of Coeur d'Alene, 17-0 here, getting ready to start the third quarter. And in talking during the break a little bit, Lance, really what stood out to us, of course the turnover hurt Coeur d'Alene. Lehi ended up with some short fields because of field position scenarios. They really did dominate that first half offensively, and who really stood out to us was their quarterback, Jackson Brousseau.
Yeah, and we talked about it, as we were talking with Josh here, our cameraman at halftime as well, is how it's such a quiet game. It almost reminded me of when Thurl Bailey was playing for the Utah Jazz, where I couldn't even remember him being on the floor. And at the end of the game, he'd have like 20 points, 20 points, 8 rebounds, a couple assists and stuff. It's like, man, he's so quiet. I just can't even imagine him being there. And that's really the way Brousseau is, is that he is. It's just such a quiet game. He's not flashy. He just does the job.
Yeah, he has been. He's completed passes when he needed to downfield. He's got it to the right places. He hasn't turned the ball over. He's been hit, knocked down a few times, but that hasn't affected their offensive scheme. And so right now, Jack Brousseau making a name for himself for the IdahoSports.com player of the game.
And not only has he played so well with his passing game, a lot of those passes were needle threaders. I mean, because they had tight defense from Coeur d'Alene. Now, Coeur d'Alene's corners are good.
Yeah.
There is no question Coeur d'Alene's corners are very, very good. And so a lot of those good passes have just been flat out earned completions because Coeur d'Alene made them earn them.
The other guys kind of have stood out for Lehi. Of course, their running back, number 28, Carson Gonzalez. Also, Kobe Moore, Steele Cooper. Those two, a tight end, wide receiver, have been involved in a lot of plays for him as well. For the Coeur d'Alene Vikings, standouts, of course, their quarterback, number 7, Braden Bengston, 6'1" senior. He's been rushed, but he's stayed there. He's stayed calm, but he has been rushed a lot, knocked down, sacked multiple times, and so they got to get him a little more time in the pocket.
I think we will see them start to run some more screens and things like that. They went to it for a little bit in the first half and started to have a little bit of success. Then it seemed kind of like maybe they went away from it just a little bit. But I think he is one of the big keys to this second half, and he's actually a very good athlete.
Gunnar Julio, another big standout offensively and defensively. He's one of those that's put the hit on Brousseau a few times. And
Julio's one of those kids that I want on my
he's an
team.
athlete,
If I'm a coach, I want him on my team. He is just a gamer. I'm telling you right now, that kid hates to lose in a game of checkers. If he loses, he's probably throwing the checkerboard around the room and stuff. I shouldn't say that, but what I'm saying is that's what I love about him. He is just a gamer, and gamers, that's a mentality. That goes into almost everything you do.
Yeah, they don't like to lose, and I've got a daughter like that that's that way a little bit with things like go fish. So hopefully that translates well later into her
where you have to put
activities.
limits on it. Okay, we're done for the day.
Yeah, we're done playing go fish.
She's tearing up cards. 84-21, back deep to receive for Lehi. That's Christensen. And I believe Jenkins.
Nice kick taken right at the 5. So Lehi will have it first. And finding some room to run. Finally drugged down at about the 32, 33-yard line. So good return and a hurt Coeur d'Alene player, it looks like, back around the 17-yard line. He's going to stay on the field as they come out to take a look at him.
Yeah, we're going to get an official's timeout because of it.
He's got his head up, but they're asking him to put his head back down on the floor.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about yesterday, we'll mention it again today. So Coeur d'Alene is the home team in this ball game today. And here they are. You're the home team, and you're playing an in-state game, and you had to travel twice the distance of the school from out of state to get to where you are. About 8 hours to get down here from Coeur d'Alene, particularly in a bus, and about 4 hours, for Lehi to come on up here. Lehi, again, if you're not familiar with that, it's the north end of Utah County, kind of borders that, borders Salt Lake County there, where the point of the mountain is, if you're familiar with Utah, and Coeur d'Alene, way up north, just across the borderline from Spokane, and again, one of the most beautiful areas you will ever see. Of course, Utah County, a beautiful area as well. You got those aggressive Wasatch Mountains, sticking right up against you. And then in Coeur d'Alene, boy, you got the forest and the lake. And it's just such a beautiful, beautiful place. Well, and so we got CJ here saying not as pretty as Colorado Springs. Well, that's debatable, CJ saying no way. Yeah, so I used to.
Springs,
So we used to go over and watch Air Force every other year when I used to follow, my college football team. Used to go over there every other year and play when they were in the same conference, and we'd go over there. Loved to go over to the Air Force Academy. It was always fun to go to road games, places, and. Of course, up, not too far from Coeur d'Alene there, you've got Gonzaga University in Spokane, and the home of, former great John Stockton, all-time leading assist and steals in NBA history, Hall of Famer. Here's a little trivia. So who was the one that inducted him into the Hall of Fame? Because you choose a person to bring you in.
That's a great question.
So think of other great guards of his era, and it wasn't Magic. No, because Nash, it's got to be another
Nash
Hall of
been,
Famer.
Yeah,
he was still in the league.
So same era.
Yeah, he came from the West Coast Conference. He played at Santa Clara.
Man,
from Canada. So it was Isaiah Thomas,
really?
The original Isaiah Thomas, from the Detroit Pistons. And in Stockton's acceptance speech, he said, he says it's odd. He says, so I have all this family that came all around from all over the place. And he says, but I think they're here to see Michael Jordan. I don't think they came to see me, Michael, sitting in stands. But Stockton, in his humble way, he's always been. He says, at every level I played at, Gonzaga Prep, his high school, his college, and everything. He says I was never the best player on my team, but yet, you see what he did. And I remember Charles Barkley making a statement in an interview one time. He said, I was always jealous of Carl. And they asked him, well, why were you jealous of Carl? Because him and Carl are good friends. He says, why were you jealous of Carl? And he says, because Carl had John.
Yep.
And he says that's something that nobody else in the league had.
Yep.
Nobody had a John Stockton that was really that pass-first point guard, And, you look and you think of, Michael Jordan, considered by most the greatest of all time. Of course, that's arguable, but considered by most the greatest of all time. And you look at his point-per-game average and stuff. Imagine if he would have played with a pass-first point guard as well. How many points he could have put up on the board. You telling me he couldn't have averaged another 4 to 6 points a game? In his career, or a Charles Barkley if he had a John Stockton. Of course, we know what Carl did, second all-time leading scorer in the history of the NBA. So, the impact of just a quiet little kid from Spokane, Washington, 6'1", but was just fantastic. Again, another one of those players, nothing fancy, just did his job.
I saw a funny story about that. I can't remember who the players were, but they were playing in Utah. There was another famous player, very good NBA player, and there was a good famous, well, at that time not famous, but a rookie that was with him, and he said he saw a minivan pull up.
Yeah.
And he said
that was Chris Webber telling the story.
Oh, that's right, Chris Webber, that's right. And he said, that's going to be the baddest man on the floor right now is in that minivan. He's just dropping his kids off, and here in a little bit, he's going to be tearing us apart. And it was John Stockton dropping his kids off at the game with the minivan as he goes in to play. So
well, and the funny thing about hearing Weber talk about that is he says the point guard. I can't remember who the point guard was, but he says he looked at John Stockton getting out, coming in with his just little collared shirt, and stuff, just really conservative. And he says he's looking, saying, oh, I'm going to eat him up. I'm going to eat him up. And he says that guard was crying in the locker room after the game because he says Stockton had like 26 points, 15 assists, and a half dozen steals, He says, here this guy sits just bawling in the locker room after because John Stockton just absolutely destroyed him. And but a lot of them, will just tell you. In fact, Gary Payton made the statement one time. He said, he said Stockton was the hardest person for me to guard, and a lot of people said, well, yeah, that's not right because you had to guard Michael Jordan stuff. He said, yeah, I did, but I only had to guard Michael twice a year. He said I had to guard John 4 times during every regular season plus playoffs. When we would meet in the playoffs, and he says the one thing that you have to say about John that you couldn't say about any other player was John never took a play off ever. Yeah. And so you had to play every single play, where even a lot of your great players occasionally will kind of take a play off here and there, and he said John never took a play off. He just never gave you that break. And if you chose to take a play off, he would punish you for it, and that's just the way John was, why he played late into his career.
Well, we're still here with an injury timeout here at Madison High School. One of the Coeur d'Alene players is being attended to, and hopefully it's more –
I know CJ's working
preventative than anything, but they're getting him on the stretcher now.
I hope so too. CJ's working on getting us a number. He's got the binoculars out, but we still haven't been able to establish exactly who it is.
It happened during the return on the kickoff, and he stayed on the ground and on his back. He was moving, and so that's a good sign always, but they're definitely being cautious with him and preventative, and so hopefully everything's okay.
Yep, that's what you need to do. And again, you go back to my generation, they'd have just dragged the player off the field and worked on him on the side so they could get the game going, So coming up next, of course, at 2 p.m., at least the scheduled start time at 2 p.m. is Pocatello versus Ogden. And just, kind of a side note about Ogden there. So Ogden, several years back, was struggling with players being academically eligible. It's in a place where it just happens to have a lot of students in their district that academics are just a struggle, and so they did not let them compete for the Utah High School Activities Association, but they did allow them to have a team, and they were allowed to have a full schedule. They just weren't allowed to compete like for a state. They couldn't go to state, any things like that, because they just didn't have enough eligible players, academically eligible, to field a team. But I like what the state did. Rather than saying you guys can't play, they allowed them to play, but just made it so they were not eligible for state titles and things like that. And so and that's a good thing, because when you get in an area sometimes like that where a school district struggles academically and stuff, let's get those kids involved in something. Get them involved. Don't take this away from them. Have that involvement, so at least that gives them that opportunity to stay close to the education system. And you're going to find a handful of kids in that say, you know what, this is important, and I need to start, really honing in on my academics. But, a lot of kids in those areas come up, and I use this as a positive. A lot of those kids come up that, they're having to work other jobs to help pay rent for the family, and things like that. And Ogden is such a proud area. It's a good area, great high schools there, but that was one of the challenges that Ogden High School went through for a couple years. So it's good to see them back, into the fold with that. And coming up to play Pocatello, it should be a good game today.
Well, they've got him on the stretcher now onto the back of the UTV there, and they'll be moving him out to the ambulance to transport him. Just having checked out. Got some Coeur d'Alene players over there just making sure he's all right, letting him know that they're thinking about him, and we hope that everything's okay.
Well, and none of us really saw the nature of what caused it, so we can't really speculate of what went on, but just that they are taking the necessary precautions to make sure that whatever it is, they don't exasperate it in that. So,
and that's good. They've got him coming off. Both teams will now regroup here and get back on to the field, as we had a pretty long break there. Like I said, that happened on the opening kickoff of the second half, and so only a couple seconds really have run off this third quarter. I think it's about 11:53 is what's left here in the third quarter.
Well, and kickoffs are oftentimes that place where you do see injuries, because you got a lot of players going full speed, and that of course is why they have given the rule of if the ball goes into the end zone, if you catch it in there, it automatically comes out to the 20. You can't run it out. And I have I see some pros and cons to that rule. I look at it in a sense of I think you take some great opportunities away for some fantastic athletes who could come out and maybe have a run back or things like that. But at the same time, as you start calculating injuries into that there is some common sense involved as well. So there's always give and take. When you make one rule one way, something suffers the other way. But
well, hopefully everything turns out okay as we're back to play. That ball overthrown. Really the first pass that Brousseau has missed. The intended receiver was number 13, Steele Cooper. Just a little high as he crossed over the middle.
Yeah, 3 defenders right there. Now, had he have caught that, obviously it would have been a big pass, big first down, but there was going to be another pretty good-sized collision that was going to take place.
And we've seen this game, there have been 3 or 4 big hits that have seen in this game, and that's a lot to do with the athletes, the strength on these teams. There's just some big hard hits in this ball game. 2nd and 10. Brousseau hands off to Gonzalez. Gonzalez maybe gets a yard.
And good defensive assignment right there. He ended up with 71 cuts, and Rob Collier in on the tackle. We've called Collier's name a lot today. He's a running back, and he's also an outside linebacker. Not a huge outside linebacker at 5'8", 182, but he's very aggressive, and he hits hard. In fact, aggressive to the point where he kind of picked up a penalty there at the end of the first half that potentially hurt Coeur d'Alene's chances of getting in the end zone. But again, that's just an athlete that wants to win games and plays with high emotion.
Brousseau back in the gun, laying out down the field. He's got a receiver wide open. The defenders collided with one another. Touchdown, Lehi. That is number 13, Steele Cooper, into the end zone.
Yeah, and Mallory collided with his teammate, and he went down, and it slowed his teammate down and just left it wide open for, did you say that was Steele Cooper?
It was
Cooper that goes in for that, and Lehi strikes quick.
Yeah, that, like you said, that collision, those 2 defenders collided. The one, as you mentioned, hit the turf. It slowed the other down, and it left Cooper wide open down the field. PAT's up and good. So it is now 24-0.
Lehi.
Yeah, all Lehi, the Pioneers, marching up and down the field.
Yep. Well, and now, we get to see this Coeur d'Alene team. We get to see what adjustments they've made, at halftime to come out. And again, I anticipate seeing, more screen passes, misdirection plays, things like that to, take advantage of I should say to negate the size difference and the speed difference on the offensive and defensive lines.
So Coeur d'Alene needing to regroup here at the start of it. We had a big break, right after that kickoff due to the injury, and now we're quickly, less than a minute. Lehi scores. There's 11:01 left on the clock now, and Coeur d'Alene's got to get something going, get some points on the board.
Isaiah Griffin, one of them back deep to receive for Coeur d'Alene.
That ball's going to get into the end zone for a touchback.
I'm going to have an opportunity to watch Lehi later in the season as well. I will actually be down when they play Skyridge, and I get a chance to watch my nephew from Skyridge plays. Of course, that's a natural rivalry now since that was part of the split school for that.
It'll be fun to see how they match up against Skyridge.
Yep, that's right. A Skyridge team that now 3 games into the season at 6A down in Utah has yet to be scored on.
So Lehi back on defense. Coeur d'Alene out there for the first time here in the second half on offense. Braden Bankston, the senior quarterback, trying to lead him down the field to get some points on the board. They sling it out to Gunnar Julio, and there's one of those just quick passes. Julio only picks up a couple yards, but that's really what they're going to have to do. And then they need blocking out there on the outside to help spring Julio.
Well, it looked like for Lehi, number 6, Nathan Andrigg, the DB, was the first one there on the tackle to bring him down. And I think we'll see it, if it's not a run play, I think we're going to see it have to come out of, the hands really quick. Bankston.
But they still need to take some shots down the field to keep, the defense honest for Coeur d'Alene. That time they run it, and he gets hit immediately. Coming off the corner was number 26 for Lehi. That's Blake Jenkins. He was the first one to hit Julio.
Well, and you talked about the need to take some shots downfield. Particularly, I mean, look how tight Lehi is packing up front towards the line, and a lot of it is because they feel like they trust their corners to get back to be able to play one-on-one defense, and because they realize right now to take that time to go for a deep pass, their line has been able to get through.
Yeah.
And it makes it very difficult to compete. I mean, look at their defense. Yeah. They got nobody deep.
Yeah. They're within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. And that ball comes free as Bankston was stepping up in the pocket, got hit. Coeur d'Alene's going to recover it.
Well, and there's a prime example right there. He was looking to go deep on that. He was looking downfield, but the time that it takes, Lehi has just closed that up.
Yeah, lots of pressure. The pocket collapsed. He'd stepped up and then got hit from behind. The ball popped free. Coeur d'Alene luckily jumps on top of it so they can at least punt away here.
Yeah, I don't want to give that short of a field to a Lehi team that's already up on you.
Good punt. Across the field, takes a nice bounce. Picked up, and the return man's going to go down. I think his knee.
I think he touched his knee.
That was number 21, Sweat, on the return.
I think it was actually his elbow that touched down on that. Unable to advance the ball.
So a good punt, with the circumstances anyways, gets it down to the 44-yard line of Lehi, and that's where they'll take over. And that's been a big thing, field position overall. Lehi, honestly, they've had 3 or 4 possessions now, within the 40 of their own side, sometimes at the 50. They've had really short fields to work with.
Well, and the best field that Coeur d'Alene had to work with was right towards the end of the first half on that fumble recovery.
Yep.
But then penalties took him out of it.
Brousseau gets it complete on the screenplay all the way down to the 40-yard line of Coeur d'Alene. That's number 84 on the reception, Jackson Christensen.
And Julio once again in as part of the crew tackling in that, as he is just everywhere. He's touching the ball offensively, and he's having more personal success on the defensive side because the offensive side, they're just struggling right now to get movement, even when passes are completed.
So 1st and 10 now from the 41-yard line officially. Brousseau in the backfield with Gonzalez. Steps up, crossing route, caught. And no, it was not. It got knocked free. And, of course, Julio, the one in on the tackle.
Yeah, he's not afraid of contact by any stretch. And, it'll be interesting to see next week as, Coeur d'Alene actually plays at Sandpoint. It's going to be, interesting
just
to
north
see.
Of them.
Yep, interesting to see, kind of what team shows up because, there very well could be a big talent difference between a Lehi and a Sandpoint, and then a size difference. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens if Bankston is able to have time in the pocket and those types of things.
Cooper Felix was the receiver on that previous play. Handoff goes to Gonzalez. He's looking for room to run and tripped up and knocked down for basically no gain.
Yeah, right at the line of scrimmage. This is a good defensive stand thus far.
James Elliott on the tackle that time up from his safety position.
Bringing up a 3rd down.
Actually, Elliott lines up as a linebacker, but he was pretty deep on that play. Yeah, 3rd and long. Again, for the most part, besides a few big plays and a turnover, the defense for Coeur d'Alene has played fairly well. There haven't been the long, sustained drives, from Lehi. It's been a couple big plays that have made the difference. Nice pitch and catch out to the receiver, Jackson Christensen, right on the sideline, just beyond the sticks. 1st down for the Pioneers.
Yeah, now inside the 30-yard line in good scoring position again. And for Lehi, they've proven that this can be a one-strike score from this distance. And so kind of changes up the defense that you have to play on them, because you can't come up and pack it for the run. You do have to have some players deep because one-on-one, right now advantage to Lehi.
Now that's what they've got. Little inside screen, and they'll pick up about 4 down to the 25. Jackson Christensen again on the reception.
We were talking about the size difference between these two teams, and you go down Coeur d'Alene here, 200, 265, 200, 240, 220, 235, 200, 250, 230, 255, 220. That's their people over 200 pounds. And all of a sudden, you start going down, this list on Lehi, and you start looking at 200, 245, 200, 250, 285, 280, 270, 225, 275, 255, 280, 290, 281, and you start going down, and it's just a big difference.
And on that play, Cope with a nice tackle from his defensive end position to take down Gonzalez for a very short gain. It's 3rd and 7 now. So, again, the Coeur d'Alene defense trying to stand up here a little bit, get a stop.
Well, and Coeur d'Alene has forced them into 3rd down conversions, and now it's just a matter of stopping that 3rd down conversion. But at least they're not giving it to them on 1st and 2nd down.
The long huddle here is Brousseau will stay in the gun. He's got Gonzalez on his right, wideouts 2 to the left of him and 1 here to our near side. See what they've got drawn up here. Rush coming. He has to get rid of it too early, and it falls incomplete. Good job by the Coeur d'Alene defense. They forced him to throw that early, and they'll
and Mallory was in on that as well. And I don't think that was a design screenplay.
No.
I think the offensive line was just unable to pick up the number of guys coming through with that blitz on that. It was a good blitz call.
Yeah, 2 guys coming right into Brousseau's face, and they may go for it here. This is kind of maybe too far for a field goal, and your 4th down, you might just go for it here from the 26-yard line.
Yeah.
Although their kicker, he's been pretty good on his PATs.
And he's not kicking
distance
into the wind today like they would have been yesterday had they have played.
I bet he could hit it from here. This would only be about we've got the clock coming or the count coming from the back judge, and now we've got a timeout.
Yeah, it was taking awfully long to do that. Of course, this is at a distance where in a college game, you're going to bring out your kicker
no-brainer
for that. Yeah.
Want to thank Knudsen Chevrolet. In the market for a new Chevrolet or a pre-owned, you'll find it at Knudsen Chevrolet in Post Falls. Browse their selection online at Knudsen.com or visit their showroom at 1900 East Polson Avenue in Post Falls. Knudsen Chevrolet, where friends have made friends since 1939. Knudsen Chevrolet, for all your automotive needs, and they're proud supporters of North Idaho athletics. Find new roads. And huge thanks to Mountain West Bank as well. You've seen their video as we've gone to commercial. Huge thanks to Mountain West Bank being a sponsor. And our major sponsors. This production of East Idaho Game Night presented by Teton Auto Group. Also brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealer, Project Filter, and Valley-Wide Cooperative. Of course, Project Filter, Idaho Fights Tobacco, Valley-Wide Co-op and Country Stores. Huge thanks to all of them for being part of East Idaho Game Night here at the 2021 Rocky Mountain Rumble. After the timeout, they're going to go for it. Brousseau fakes the handoff, rolls left, throws, and they got him on the sideline. 1st down. Nice play. Again, Brousseau under duress. Number 11, the receiver on the play for Lehi. That is Kobe Moore. He caught a big play down the sideline as well. Him, Moore, and Steele Cooper have been the big targets, along with Jackson Christensen for the Lehi Pioneers. So 1st and 10 now, 6:30 left here in the 3rd from the 14. Handoff, Gonzalez, ouch, got hit low and high and kind of bent backwards. And who else? Yep, Gunner Julio with the hit. Short 1-yard gain.
Boy, it's been a lot that we have called his name today. CJ just asking over here how many times we called his name. It's been a lot.
And it's like you said, it's been a lot on the defensive end, just because they haven't been able to get a lot offensively going. But he does play both sides of the ball, and he has shown out defensively here for Coeur d'Alene. So 2nd and 9 now with Brousseau and Gonzalez in the backfield. Fade to the far corner, touchdown. Number 85 with the touchdown reception. That's Jace McGarry, the tight end. They get everybody involved now, and it's now 30-0.
Yeah, and I think right now, even some of the Coeur d'Alene fans, they're here on our side of the stadium. I'm looking down, and they're really quiet. There's some shock down here. I think they expected a little bit different from their team today, as I did as well. But this Lehi group is very good.
Man, they rolled the snap to the poor holder. He picked it up and tried to make something happen, but number 16, the holder, will go down and tackle Tristan Royce. So the point after is no good. It'll stay 30-0. And that's really, like, other than the one fumble, that's the only mistake here from Lehi.
Yeah.
And neither of them have hurt them as of yet.
And again, Lehi 1-1. They lost to Davis in overtime, 21-14. That was a tight one. They beat Salem Hills 30-7. Salem Hills a 5A opponent down in Utah. Of course, Lehi's 6A.
Talked about all we do at IdahoSports.com. We do a ton more than just broadcasting. Check out our website for updated scores, schedules, standings, polls, action photo galleries, and written content from every corner of the state. We've got Steve Connor here down on the field, picking up some awesome action shots. And go check out the website. If you want to find out what happened last night, we've got every score from across the state of Idaho. That taken at the 2 by Isaiah Griffin. And good return out to about the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, very good return. Good field position for Coeur d'Alene. And again, we'll get to see, if they're able to take advantage of some opportunities here. And even going with some of those quicker passes and screen passes and so forth, Lehi has just been stout. They just haven't allowed that to get going either. Lehi is big. They're strong in the trenches. They're quick on the outside. They're hard hitters with their linebackers and safeties. It's a tough team for anybody to face.
Very good football team. Join Idaho Sports Nation as well on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Here's a run from Collier, and Collier picks up a hard-earned run.
Yeah.
He spent most of his time moving his feet trying to get away from a couple of would-be tacklers.
For sure, brought down by number 32, Helaman Ofahengawi. Ofahengawi, senior, 6'3", 205, also listed as a wide receiver.
So 2nd and 9 here, 4:59 left in the third quarter. Bankston hands it off to Collier again, and Collier picks up maybe 3 on the play.
Yeah, and I think Josh saw the same thing I did. It looked like a false start.
They got away with one there, and you're a little more likely to get away with little things like that when you're down 30-0.
Yeah, because those were called in the first half.
Yeah.
They were called a lot, and they were called primarily on Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah. So it's 3rd and 5 now. Bankston trying to get something going offensively here for his Vikings. Hard count. Now the question is, who moved? Or did they get in?
Yeah,
they did,
it's
encroachment.
against Lehi, yeah.
So they did get him. They'll get a first down. Or are they just short? Yep, it is a first down. So the 5 yards does give them the first down, and it seems like it's been a while since Coeur d'Alene picked up a first down offensively.
Yeah, it has.
So they get one by way of penalty right there. It's 1st and 10 out at the 43-yard line. Bankston with time, back to pass down the field. Good defense, great defense out there on the outside as it falls incomplete.
Boy, that's as good a defense as you will see played there. Yep. Yeah, that by Andrug. With the defense on Mallory.
Yeah, he stayed on the inside, and he kept the defender or the offensive receiver on the outside and just never gave him a chance to get back to the ball.
Yeah, I think it was actually Woolley offensively.
The intended receiver.
Intended receiver.
So Bankston back in the gun again. And a false start. Yeah, everybody was leaning again. The running back was leaning as well on that play. So a little first game glitches, if you will.
Yeah.
Trying to get worked out here for the Coeur d'Alene Vikings.
First of 4 games today. Next one slated to start at 2. Of course, all 7 games, the Rocky Mountain Rumble covered here on IdahoSports.com.
Clock should be rolling as we go down under 4 minutes. Coeur d'Alene back to the line of scrimmage. Bankston rolls to his left. In trouble. Gets it away to a receiver, but probably lost yardage on the completed pass.
Yeah, did lose yardage. About 1.5 yards loss on that. Sometimes that might just be better tossed out of bounds.
Pass completed, though, to Troy DiAgostino for a -3 yards. That's not what you want on your stat line.
No.
The completion's good. The yardage is not. Yeah, and DiAgostino didn't know exactly where he was on the field. He just knows the ball's being thrown to him. Back to pass. There's a nice completion, caught and out near the midfield mark.
Yeah, at about the 49-yard line on the Coeur d'Alene side of the field, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Coeur d'Alene go for it here.
That's Caleb Short with the reception, number 9 for the Vikings, and yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you learn a lot about yourself in opportunities like this, and
let's see if we can pick up a first down and get some momentum. So 4th and 4.
Yeah, they're going to come in again pretty quick.
Little screen pass, knocked down. Big number 32 got his hands up and knocked it down. That was Helaman Ofahengawi.
Ofahengawi.
I almost got it without hesitating. But a nice defensive stand there. And on a little bit of life from the offense for Coeur d'Alene. I like the option there to go for it just because what do you have to lose at this point? You're down 30-0. They'll turn the ball over. They could have got a little better field position, of course, if they punted it away, but now the defense has got to stand up again.
You know, Ofahengawi, quite a popular Polynesian name in Utah, as they've had Ofahengawis that have played for BYU and University of Utah and Utah State. You know, you also got Katoas, Kafusis, Sikahemas, Tuipalutus, Fitzimanu. You know, all of those names are big ones down in Utah. Tia is another one. Tuifua.
Yeah, there's
Fuamatumafala.
And we're gonna have more of them coming up. And I actually do enjoy it, having these teams come out from Utah, because you get to see a lot of these schools. Ogden's going to have a lot of Polynesian players. Alta will have it as well, and it's fun for me, to look at those names. And the nice thing about that language is they're kind of phonetic. I mean, they're spelled how
they are.
How they should be
actually,
pronounced.
for the most part, pronounced how they're spelled.
That makes it a little easier. Sometimes they're pretty long, though.
Yep.
But we've got another injured player. It's unfortunately a Coeur d'Alene player on the far side of the field. There was a penalty as well. I think it was holding against.
It was, and it was in the backfield. Spot foul of 10 yards, so that puts them back quite a bit. Almost 20 yards, almost. Got
1st and 29.
Yeah.
So the ball way back to the 32-yard line, and the injured player looks like number 33, I think.
Yeah, it does look like number 33 from
Stavros, Jordan Stavros, linebacker. Looks his left leg or ankle.
Another one of those seniors.
Yeah, left leg injury of some sort.
Yeah, this is if the game continues to go the way it is, this is one of those times that you as a coach, you know that, hey, we got to get right back into it on Monday. We got Sandpoint this coming weekend, and your job as a coach, a lot of it is going to be simple motivation. You know, more so even than scheme or things like that. Obviously, you're doing that all the time, but you've got to get out and do some motivating as a coach, and help those players realize, hey, that's just a game. Let's put it behind us. Let's go out and let's have a great season.
About a 4-yard pickup, 5-yard pickup for Gonzalez on the carry. It's still 2nd and forever. 2nd and 23 on the board. 2:46 left to go here in the third quarter. Brousseau all by his lonesome back in the backfield. Back to pass. Short route underneath. About a 3-yard gain is what they're going to get, and it'll be 3rd and long, 3rd and 20 upcoming.
And on that tackle for Coeur d'Alene was Isaiah Griffin. We've called his name quite a bit tonight. We've talked about how a lot of these contributors, the vast majority of them for Coeur d'Alene, are seniors. You know, Julio's a senior, Bankston's a senior, Griffin's a senior. A lot of seniors on this team. Cope, senior as well, and so. We know Coeur d'Alene has that experience, and we expect that they will bounce back. Again, I'm not calling this game, but the outcome. I'm just saying, if things continue to go the way it has been, they'll certainly bounce back.
Lehi flips it out to Gonzalez. Gonzalez picks up a few more yards, but still going to end up short of the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and of course Julio in on that again.
So it'll be 4th and 13.
Julio might be the leading tackler in this game. Either side.
Yes. 4th and 13 for the Pioneers. They'll punt away. So a good defensive stand from Coeur d'Alene to get the ball back, and they'll have it in decent position here. The return men, Julio and number 21, Langley, back.
A false start here. Might be encroachment. Let's see what their official call is here.
An illegal substitution.
Oh, wow.
They must have had too many men on the field prior to that snap. So 5-yard gain. It'll still be 4th and 8 now, and it looks like they're going to remain punting. Again, and smartly, they just punted it or snapped it, and maybe they weren't ready. They might not get a penalty because they hadn't actually blown the play ready.
Yeah.
The officials hadn't. So now they've blown the play ready. They have the right number of players on the field.
Coeur d'Alene, your home team. Lehi, your visiting team.
Blocked
punt.
A good job there as that ball spins out of bounds. Official goes down, players go down. Everybody's back up, though.
Yeah, I don't think any penalties. I think everything was inadvertent.
Just guys hustling
But, hey,
over.
good field position for Coeur d'Alene. They'll be on the 46-yard line of the Lehi half of the field. And Coeur d'Alene needs to get, whether they're able to come back in this game or not, they need to get some points up on the board.
Yeah, just you don't want to go out of here blanked. So, was it who was on the block? Cope. Of course, Cope, the big defensive end.
6'5", tight end as well.
Tight end. He got it through there, got his big arms on that ball and knocked it, blocked that punt. It sputtered out of bounds over on the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 for Coeur d'Alene, 1:30 left here in the quarter. So we're still in the third, a long opening game here this morning and into the afternoon. And now Bankston, he didn't see the blind side till late and got sacked.
Yeah, and what you see right there is 4 Lehi Pioneers and no Coeur d'Alene Vikings standing around there.
Another injured player, number 15, went down after the sack. That is, I thought it was 15, but that's not Brousseau.
No. And Ofa Hingawi on that tackle again as well.
I think he might have got his arm smashed by the other defender that was there on the tackle. He is definitely in some pain. Well, while they attend to the injured player, we're going to step away. We'll come back try to give you as much information as we can on our here on IdahoSports.com. The 2021 Rocky Mountain Rumble. We'll be right back.
Banking. Maybe you enjoy the person-to-person attention you get going to your bank. Maybe you enjoy the convenience of banking from home sweet home. Or maybe you like the flexibility of paying your bills, applying for a loan, or talking to your personal banking person from wherever fits your fancy. Then definitely, you should bank at Mountain West Bank. Member FDIC. The easy, convenient, any way you want to bank.
Welcome back. It was Tristan Royce, the linebacker, who was injured off the field on his own power. Bankston looking for a receiver, got him at the original line of scrimmage. So picks up 5 to make it 3rd and 10.
It was a great pass, and Andrick there. Also big number 95. Tamala got all the way out there. Just a sophomore, 5'11", 225 pounds. That's another one of those that if he's only 225 pounds, then they took weight about
2 years
8
ago.
months ago. Yeah, because he is bigger than that right now. 225. I'm telling you right now, that guy can lay a licking on some people.
He's standing next to number 75, Louis Fau, who's listed at 250. So, and they didn't look that much different from the back.
Well, and Tamala's even taller.
Yeah. Gunner in motion out to the far side. Back to pass. Now Langston steps up, and he just overshot him, intercepted. Overshot his receiver. That ball picked off by number 21, Sweat. The quarter ends, and Sweat gets tackled, but it'll be Lehi ball.
Yeah, the pass intended for Farrar and just overthrown. And it was too bad that it wasn't on because he was open.
Yeah, he was.
That was, if he could have put that in the breadbasket, that would have been a fantastic gain of yards for them. Put them in their best scoring position all game long.
Any guess who tackled the man after the interception?
Oh, I'm
Gunner
I'm sure we can
Julio.
guess. That's right. We come to the end of the third quarter as well.
Gunner Julio playing defense even when he's on offense. So that is the end of the third quarter. We'll step away for another break. We'll be back here on IdahoSports.com for the fourth quarter of the 2021 Rocky Mountain Rumble. Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. The Lehi Pioneers just intercepted a Bankston pass, and they'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line. Handoff up the middle. Shifty running taken down at the 22-yard line. That is Gonzalez on the carry. It'll be 2nd and 4 upcoming, a pickup of 6. A dominant performance here through 3 quarters by the Lehi Pioneers. Forced 2 or 3 turnovers. There's been 2 interceptions. I think there was a fumble also that was recovered by Lehi.
See the teams for our next game out there warming up now on the far fields. Pocatello in their red and black, and Ogden in their white uniforms with black lettering and orange helmets. They're the Tigers.
Rolling to his right. Pass is complete for about 2 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 2 upcoming right just beyond the 25-yard line, or right at the 25, actually.
And on the tackle, number 6, Mallory.
So 3rd and short for Lehi. Very much, they've mixed the run in pretty good, but I'd say they're a pass first team.
Yeah.
But they've mixed the run in with Gonzalez quite a bit. He's been the main back.
Well, and you just know, they're good enough, and they've got the horses in the backfield that if you start dropping your backers back to help out with the pass, they're just going to run on you as well. They're a good team, well-rounded.
And a first down pass incomplete. He was out of bounds, though, when he caught it, so it'll be 4th and 2. The intended receiver was Boston Bingham. He caught it, but had a foot out of bounds at the time. So 4th and 2, the punt crew will come on for Lehi.
It's going to be Julio back to receive. Langley will also be back there.
Once again, doing the punting. Number 29, Zane Goodrich, senior, 160 pounds, 165 pounds, 6-foot senior.
Bad snap, but he recovered it well.
They're going to let it bounce. Probably not a bad idea as it just kind of bounces sideways.
Yeah.
Lehi.
It's going to be on the 46-yard line on the Coeur d'Alene side of the field. And Coeur d'Alene, 10:02 left, should, I think you just pull out all the stops at this point. And, if that's your trick plays, whatever, get yourself into the end zone and then use that as motivation moving forward.
They've got 10 minutes, 2 seconds left here to get something on the board. And it's probably been, you probably have to go back a ways to find a Coeur d'Alene team that's been blanked and shut out in a football game. I'd suspect you'd have to go back a few years, actually. And right now, they're in danger of that streak ending. 10 yards here to go. Pick up the first down. In trouble, and just down he goes. Nothing he could do. Bankston's been in trouble all day, and 2 guys sandwiching that time.
Yeah, that line is just getting in so quick. Very impressed. Coeur d'Alene's a home team here. We're IdahoSports.com, and we're really representing our Idaho schools. But the credit where it's due. I mean, Lehi is just has come out and they've shown that at least right now at this point of the season they are on a different level than Coeur d'Alene is. But they've also got 2 games under their belt. Coeur d'Alene does not. Coeur d'Alene did have the benefit of being able to scout some game film of Lehi, but still, I still think the best experience is being on the field.
That handoff went to Gunnar Julio, I believe, the ball carrier there. Or maybe it was 32. It was 32, my mistake. That is Sam Ency. Picks up a few yards. It's going to be 3rd and long still, though. 3rd and 14. With 8:54 left here in the 4th quarter. Bankston. And a false start. Yeah, it's interesting. I think what's happening is the wideouts are going on the clap from the quarterback, from Bankston, and there's going to be a delay between that clap and the time that it's actually hiked, and those wideouts have really just got to go with the ball rather than the clap of Bankston. That's something they're going to have to work hard on this week in practice prior to next Friday's game. 3rd and 19 now. They've got to get across midfield to the 44-yard line of Lehi for a first down. They're going to hand it off to Collier. Collier nowhere to go. He's going to get tackled in the backfield for another loss of about 2. 3 men in on that tackle, 35 and 32. That's Katoa, Ofa Hengawi, and
Hey, you said it right. I like that.
I had to look at it, say it in my head, and then say it out loud.
You have to go all the way back to August 28th of 2015.
Ouch.
The last time that Coeur d'Alene was shut out in a game. That was by Skyline, and that was in the Kibbe Dome to start the season. 22-0. That was the last time that they were shut out.
Oh, 5 seasons ago.
2015.
Yeah.
Actually 6 seasons ago now. Yeah.
That's true. So it's been a while. They're in trouble of renewing that streak here. So the injured player that came off earlier has some crutches down there. Left ankle with a lot of ice, looks like, taped around it. So some injuries racking up a little bit here for Coeur d'Alene in this ball game. On the carry, that's number 5, Isaac Mills. He'll get tackled, looks like, for maybe a short loss. Yeah, new quarterback looks like Jet Niu, number 8. He's just a freshman, 6'1", 155. So giving the freshmen some snaps here.
Jet Niu. That's a great name. Jet. There's a little teeny island country with just a couple thousand people out in the middle of the South Pacific. That is spelled Niue.
That ball tipped, intercepted, and the shutout is not going to happen as number 8, Jacob Woolley, picks it off, runs it in for a touchdown.
And that is great for Coeur d'Alene. Coeur d'Alene needed that.
Now that ball was...
Well, it was a good pass.
Good pass.
Maybe a little hot.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
But was a good pass. Catchable.
That, as a defender, that's the ones you want to pick off because that ball was tipped up. It's easy. It's just floating there. And Woolley grabbed it out of the air and ran it back untouched for a touchdown. PAT's up and good. So the shutout will not happen tonight. And the streak will stay alive. Lehi up on the Vikings, though, 30-7 now here in the fourth quarter. Once again, want to thank Knudsen Chevrolet, Mountain West Bank, as our local sponsors for this East Idaho game night production here of the Rocky Mountain Rumble here at Madison High School. And a huge thanks to Madison High School. Last year, with everything that happened with COVID, they traditionally have done the Rocky Mountain Rumble down in Holt Arena for years. Yeah. And Holt Arena wasn't available. It moved up here to Madison, a great facility. We're not in a dome, but great weather here.
I actually like it better. I'm one of those people that, for whatever reason, I just believe football was made to be played outside.
Yeah.
You know, that the elements are actually part of the game itself. Sometimes it's one in the trenches in a muddy field, you know, from rain and snow, and sometimes it's sunny and hot, and sometimes it's perfect like today. But I just think it's a game to be played outdoors. But that's just me.
I agree. I like being out here in the sunshine, and I'm not as big of a fan of it being outdoors when it's 15 degrees and snowing and the wind's blowing. I'm not as big of a fan of that.
Well,
but
that's because you're a wimp.
Agreed. I agree. I'm not going to argue that. When it comes to cold, I don't like to be cold. I don't mind those.
You're a fair weather broadcaster.
I don't
aren't you?
mind the winter. I don't mind the winter, but I don't want to be cold in the winter. So after the interception,
but yet you live in Southeast Idaho.
I know. One of these days I'll move to warmer weather. I do enjoy the snow. Here's a big return after the kickoff, all the way out to the 42-yard line. Woolley knocks him out of bounds finally.
Looked like that was Foreman, number 81, is what that looked like to me. Foreman.
Woolley was on the tackle.
He's typically a free safety, a 5'11 senior.
Oh, there is a flag all the way back at the 29-yard line, so this is probably going to come back a bit.
So you see these little these little yellow cones that are down here on the side that Coeur d'Alene has been using, you know, these agility cones and stuff like that. There's been a couple of them, they've been tossing them back and forth down there on the sideline, and I keep thinking there's flags.
Like a Frisbee.
Flying, yeah.
6:31 left here in the fourth quarter, and in a game that Lehi has just been in control of from start to finish. The first quarter, we didn't have a score, but once Lehi started scoring, they haven't stopped thus far. Handoff inside, and a little slip, and he'll go down for a yard gain. That's ball carrier number 5. That is Isaac Mills again, senior running back.
And, you know, you look at Coeur d'Alene. You know, if you get another stop here, put it in, you know, as well. You got a touchdown already up on the board. It'd be nice to get an offensive touchdown as well, you know, as you go into next week, your game at Sandpoint.
Yeah, that's the thing. It would be nice for their offense to get something going. Niu, a complete pass for about 8 yards, and it'll be 3rd down and 2 upcoming. Jet Niu, a freshman. Number 8, 6'1", 155. He's still got some growing to do.
3rd down here. Good opportunity for Coeur d'Alene to get a stop. You got a completely different offensive line out there for for Lehi.
Inside handoff, first down and more. Will still on his feet. Now it's a foot race. He's not going to make it, but he'll get all the way out to the 35-yard line. Yeah, I don't think that was – I don't like that call, actually. I thought he went down on his own accord after he let go of him, but that's going to be a late hit out of bounds.
That's on Wyatt Potter. He's also a backup quarterback, is Potter, 5'11" senior, Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of contact after he was out of bounds, but I think after he let go of him, the player kind of went down on his own accord. But sometimes that's what you do, and you get the call.
Yeah, it was a good run. It was a good play by Lehi.
Great play.
You know, you can't take anything away from the play that was there. The end of it just happened to make it so it hurts just a little more for Coeur d'Alene.
Inside the 20 now, in the red zone here with 5:10 left. Jet Neo trying to pick up a touchdown here for his squad. Big hit as the ball is completed.
Great catch, great tackle. That was Woolley on the tackle, and he laid a lick.
Yeah, no gain. In fact, it looks like they actually marked him as they lost a yard on the play.
You know, and this is these are those situations when you're losing in a game like this, and you really have struggled to be, you know, competitive in a lot of different aspects. These are games where, as coaches, you got to celebrate the small victories. You know, a big tackle, you know, a first down, things like that might just be kind of commonplace in another game, but you got to celebrate those.
Niu's pass falls incomplete, kind of in between a couple intended receivers. And it'll be third and 11, upcoming. See what they draw up here from the 20, 3rd and 11. You got to think they're probably within field goal range if it stays here at the 20 or closer.
So.
That ball tipped at the line of scrimmage and knocked down. So it'll be 4th and 11 from the 20. See what Lehi decides to do here, if they'll throw on the kicking crew. And it looks like that will be the case. In to kick the field goal will be number 29, Zane Goodrich.
Bo Spillman in on that down there for Coeur d'Alene, getting in on the action.
Goodrich has been perfect. The one PAT that didn't go in was he didn't even attempt it. There was a bad snap. So here's Goodrich from about 40.
That looks to be to the right.
Nope, he hit it.
Oh, he did hit it. Oh, my goodness. That looked like it was going right. Of course, we're a bad angle for that.
That was a great-looking field goal. He'd have been good from another 10 or 15 yards.
What we need is one of those cameras that's set up behind there so we can look at it on the screen, you know, and see if it's going in. Otherwise, it's just a guessing game.
So 3 more points tacked on for Lehi.
Of course, you had the big state playoff game about 4 years ago that was Gooding and South Fremont, where South Fremont was up in that game, up by a point, and Gooding kicked that final field goal, and one of the officials called it no good. The other one called it good. That was underneath. They got together, and then as they looked at the video later on, they could see the pole between it, and so it should have been no good.
And they counted it.
But you can't review those. You know, in the game, once the officials got together, they counted it. It was on Gooding's field, and that was a huge controversy. But you get those where in college, you know, there would be a review of that if there was an issue with it, you know, and certainly in the NFL. But you got a lot of money on the line in those 2 leagues.
Isaiah Griffin on the return this time. And he's got some room to run down to about the 33-yard line. So another good return from Griffin, and the offense will get back onto the field for Coeur d'Alene. 3:56 left in the ball game. They trail 33-7. Their touchdown coming off a pick 6 from number 8, Jacob Woolley. See what the offense can do. May end up being the last possession, last opportunity here for Coeur d'Alene to put some offensive points on the board. Bankston still out there. Gunnar Julio still out there. The starters still on the field for Coeur d'Alene. Bankston back to pass. Across the middle. He finds his receiver. I think that's right.
It was a nice completion.
Griffin, excuse me.
Nice completion.
No, it was number 2, Isaac Griffin, on the reception. I'm almost positive that's a. They said 21, but I thought it was just number 2. Anyways, good pickup, 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3 upcoming right at the 40-yard line. Man in motion's Julio out to the far side. Bad snap. Bankston picks it up, recovers it.
Throws it right-handed.
Yeah, he did. That's true. That's why it ended up short of his receiver. He's a lefty, and he threw it away right-handed. I was a little confused. Why did he short-arm that? Yeah. It's like, why is he throwing like Lance down there?
That's right. Only when I throw left-handed.
It is an uncomfortable feeling for most people throwing with your opposite hand. There's no doubt about that. Bankston finding a little room. The ball bobbled and pops out of the hands of the intended receiver.
Yeah, it was Isaiah Griffin, and it was right in his hands.
Yeah. It just bobbled out. And I'm surprised here. I thought maybe they'd go for it again here. 2:57 on the clock, but looks like they're going to punt it away. In there to punt, number 15, James Elliott. You are pretty deep on your own side of the field, I suppose, but
yeah.
Fake? He's going to go for it. He's not going to get there, though. He almost got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if that was or not.
If it was a personal decision, it wasn't a good one. At least it didn't end up how we were hoping.
Well, and especially, we got 2:45 left in the game. You're already down 33-7.
And I actually, it may have very well, they might have been trying the fake punt anyways. Instead of trying to go for it on 4th down with your offense, maybe you try to sneak it on the punt team, and it didn't end up working. 1st and 10 for Lehi from the 40. 2:45 left to go. A dominant performance from Lehi, 33-7 right now.
Pocatello and Ogden coming up next. 2 o'clock scheduled start time for that game. Just a little under a half hour away.
Niu, I think, handed that off to Isaiah Allen. Sophomore, listed it as a defensive back, but in at running back on that play. Of course, Jet Niu, number 8, has come in relief of the starting quarterback, Jackson Brousseau. Second and 5 after the gain. And it'll go to Allen again, and Allen very close. In fact, he's going to pick up the 1st down.
Isaiah Allen, just a sophomore, 5'6", 150.
He picked up that 1st down and more. It's 1st and 10 inside the 30 down to the 29. With 1:40 left here in the clock. In the ball game, it's been a pretty long game. We're going on 2.5 hours. In fact, we're over 2.5 hours from the opening kickoff. We had a little delay due to an injury. Yes.
It is, and I don't see Coeur d'Alene, really, using those 2 timeouts. I think they'll let it go as a sign of respect.
Yeah. And 2nd and 12 after that. The victory formation from the shotgun is what that is, Josh. 56 seconds and counting. as they wait for the snap here. Here comes the count from the back judge. They'll snap it. He'll walk up and take a knee.
They're still going to have to do one more.
Well, just right at 37 seconds. And they're going to say that's the end.
Yeah, that's a good move. Good move.
So that'll do it for this ball game. The Lehi Pioneers come off with a win here, 33-7 big over the Coeur d'Alene Vikings. We're going to step away for a quick break. We're going to come back with our IdahoSports.com player of the game. This is the 2021 Rocky Mountain Rumble. We'll be right back. Stick around. Well, welcome back here as the teams shake hands at midfield. It's actually good to see that, too, as teams last year didn't really do that, but it's nice to see it here. A good show of sportsmanship.
Well, and the killer thing about that was basketball.
Yeah.
We went over to, or I went over to watch my son play in Star Valley, Wyoming, and you weren't allowed to have a jump ball because of COVID. They had to.
Wyoming did that.
Yeah, you had to take it out of bounds on the side, but yet those same players could go up, banging against each other for rebounds and everything
Blocking
else.
out.
But yeah, those are some things that I have occasional issues with.
Yeah, we'll move on from that because we could talk for a while about that.
Lauren got me started.
Well, I could go for a while myself, but Lehi wins this 33-7 over Coeur d'Alene here. Right now, it's all been Utah in this Idaho-Utah matchup. Nice little backflip there from number 8. That was Niu. They're nice on the far sideline. But all Lehi in this game, 33-7 over Coeur d'Alene, and it's been all Utah as well. They're 4-0 right now in the first 4 games of this Rocky Mountain Rumble. Our IdahoSports.com player of the game, it's that time. It's got to be our starting quarterback for Lehi, number 15, Jackson Brousseau.
Oh, yeah. Brousseau just did it and does it the right way. You know, he's one of those kids you watch play football. He's so fundamentally sound and just a very, very good ball player, very efficient.
Yeah, he made the passes when they mattered, took advantage of short fields, and he just made all the right plays. Didn't throw an interception. He just did a great job offensively. So congratulations to you, Jackson Brousseau, our IdahoSports.com player of the game. We also talked about having just a little honorary player of the game for Coeur d'Alene. Gunnar Julio.
Wow.
We don't know officially, but defensively specifically, he was in on.
Yeah, he had to have more tackles than anybody on either side of the ball. And one of the things we mentioned, too, is he's a kid that it doesn't matter he could be at any school in the country, and he is going to be a contributor on that program.
It was just a great game for him as well, Gunnar Julio, so congratulations. But our IdahoSports.com player of the game, Jackson Brousseau. Well, this has been an IdahoSports.com game stream production of East Idaho Game Night, presented by Teton Auto Group. Our major sponsors that make coverage on IdahoSports.com possible include your local Toyota dealer, Toyota, Let's Go Places, Valleywide Co-op and Country Stores, and Project Filter, Idaho Fights Tobacco. We'd also like to thank our local advertisers tonight, Knudsen Chevrolet and Mountain West Bank. Thank you very much. And congratulations again to our IdahoSports.com player of the game, Jackson Brousseau. Thanks for joining us as the Lehi Pioneers defeat the Coeur d'Alene Vikings by a score of 33-7. For my broadcast partner, Lance Taylor, and everyone else here, Josh McGauley, CJ Parkinson, and everyone behind the scenes at IdahoSports.com, I'm Lauren Jensen saying so long. We got another game coming up. Stick around with us. It's the Pocatello Indians.
Actually, the Pocatello Thunder now.
Sorry, bad habit there. Pocatello Thunder. They did just recently change their mascot. Pocatello Thunder taking on the Ogden Tigers. Rawr. Have a good night, everybody.
Banking. Maybe you enjoy the person-to-person attention you get going to your bank. Maybe you enjoy the convenience of banking from home sweet home. Or maybe you like the flexibility of paying your bills, applying for a loan, or talking to your personal banking person from wherever fits your fancy. Then definitely, you should bank at Mountain West Bank. Member FDIC. The easy, convenient, any way you want to bank.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com game streams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of IdahoSports.com